Hypocrisy.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Lawsplaining the Interwebs. I'm your host, Nick Rekieta of Rekieta Law, a small law firm in central Minnesota. What's up? How you doing? How's it going? Let's see. So I'm just getting everything set up. We have a little time here before old Darrell arrives at the courtroom. He's supposed to start at 1 Central, which is about 40 minutes from now. That's 40 minutes just for you. That I'm here to talk about stuff. Let's see. Oh my gosh. Happy Halloween, by the way. Happy Halloween to everybody out there in Chatland. I think I gotta like share this to the YouTube thing real quick. Create post. Hey, streaming the Darrell Brooks scheduling conference over on Rumble. Join me over there right now. Yeah, there we go. That's it. I'm posting that. It's not very complicated. Whew. Okay, guys. So today on Darrell Brooks, we have a scheduling conference to schedule his sentencing conference. It's probably going to be boring. Nothing is probably going to happen because there's nothing to really happen. But I have a feeling that if there is anybody who can do this, Darrell Brooks can make it stupid. Let's see. Let me find. Where the hell is this? No, go away. Where are we? Here we go. Darrell Brooks, hearing to schedule sentencing. Dun. Dun. All right. Okay. I think I'm relatively set up. Check your Instagram DMs. But that's scary. That makes my life terrifying. Okay. Oh gosh, I feel like I haven't done this in a year. I'm like all over the place. Oh, I got to turn on my, should I have my name there? Look, there I am. Which one? I'm going to go with minimal. Block. Minimal. Okay. You can't get Rumble to play? It's playing right now. All right, guys. So, we're here. We're going to discuss Darrell Brooks. Got a little time to kill. Not quite sure exactly what to talk about. What do you guys want to talk about? Should we talk about Pelosi? That's the situation, isn't it? Oh, it's just, don't worry. It's one of the most influential and powerful members of Congress who literally run the fucking planet. But some random person in underwear snuck in and hammered her husband randomly. Although, to be fair, I think he may have been getting hammered before he got hammered. If you know what I'm saying. KGB on Scout. On Scouts? Do you mean SCOTUS? Oh my gosh. Crowder got banned on YouTube for 7 days. Yeah, I saw that he got a strike. I saw that happened. It sucks. Everybody's getting struck right now over on YouTube, which is why I'm glad we're here on Rumble and Odyssey. I'm not worried about getting struck. I'm not worried about much of anything anymore. I'm just here to be a humble merchant of birch gold and Darrell Brooks, apparently, I guess. Whew. How's Rumble not working on your desktop? What did you do wrong? Because it works for me just fine. Talk about the DHS monthly censorship collaborations with private companies since 2020. No. Oh, did you guys see there's some pretty funny stuff coming out of Twitter right now. Pretty funny stuff coming out. So it turns out there's now two things. The first thing is that since Elon Musk fired his CEO, the chief of legal services, and the whoever the other person was, since he fired them for cause, they may not get their golden parachutes because they stood to have about $78 million between the three of them in bonus pay, and now they may not get it. So that's the first thing that's funny. That's the first thing. The second thing that's funny is that oh yeah, there's been some leaks, and it looks like maybe Twitter wasn't being responsive to discovery requests and was doing what Elon Musk accused them of doing, which might give him some leverage on some of those, again, some of those things like golden parachutes and stuff like that. So pretty interesting to see. We'll see if that unfolds in any way. It'd be up to him entirely if he wants to. Let's talk about the movie masterpiece that is Cabin Fever 2. I'd rather not do that because that's disgusting. Let's see. Oh my gosh. Is Legal Vices up yet? I have no idea. I should probably invite him. Let's see. I've got here's something annoying that YouTube does. So I'm waiting to pull up this screen for this to start, but I can't max screen the video window until the video starts. So now I see the YouTube chat over on Law and Crime, and I get really, really annoyed and anxious. Let's see. Airplane Arms, let's talk about the movie masterpiece that is Cabin Fever 2. It was terrible. God, it was bad. It was so bad. Ugh. Talibama says, first rant, my fam owns a liquor store called Beaver Liquor. Would love to send you some merch. How do I do that? Oh yeah, I haven't put that in the description of these videos. I have a PO box for merch or whatever. There's certain things you should not send there, but it's PO Box 97 in Spicer, Minnesota 56288. It's on all of my YouTube video descriptions. I just completely forgot to do that. Let me send out a couple invites here. What's up? Here I am streaming Brooks Scheduling if you want to come. Boom. Oh, I'm going to come. Okay, so if you don't know how this works, this is not a sentencing conference. This is a scheduling conference. They're going to schedule the sentencing conference. So today, I wouldn't expect too much to happen, except for the fact that it's Darrell Brooks, and Darrell Brooks is insane. So it's possible that something funny will occur. But the likely outcome is that it's going to be nothing special. But yeah, let me see. Who else do I got to? Oh, I got to invite Steve Gosney on. But we'll see. Let me send this to him. Hey, Brooks, scheduling conference at 1 Central. I'm live now if you want to join. Okay, there's that. Okay, I've sent out a couple invites now. Whew. Just trying to get everything organized here. I am very disoriented today. And it's not my fault. We watched Cabin Fever 1 and Cabin Fever 2 last night on Twitch. And I tell you what, that was a whiplash inducing transition from the first Cabin Fever to the second Cabin Fever. Let's see. Shri, I have a little more time. We'll see. But yes, there is a possibility that I will have to ditch early. I hope not, but it's Halloween and my kids have stuff to do. But I think I've got a nice buffer time between actually between when I think this thing will end and when I have to leave. So we'll see. We'll see. All right. John Blood says, dang, I'll be at the dentist when the Darren show starts. Darrell, please. Darrell Brooks. Shoot, what we got? B. Miller says GRPD officer shooting. Well, I don't know anything about that. I haven't seen it. Okay, so for tonight, I believe I will be doing a stream tonight here on Rumble and Odyssey around 11 p.m. The idea is to go through the Babylon Bee. If you guys saw a little while back, The Onion filed an amicus brief in this pretty interesting case where a guy created a parody account of a police department and posted stuff, and then he got arrested for it. So now he's suing. He is suing the city and the police department for infringing his First Amendment rights by arresting him for protected First Amendment activity. The Onion wrote a really, really funny and really, really good amicus brief. I threw out a challenge to the Babylon Bee, and I said that I would love to see them write a funnier brief than the Onion did. And they wrote two. They wrote two briefs. One of them they filed, and the other one is just full on jokes. So we'll check those out probably tonight on the night show. Viva says, hi, Rackets. Hey, what's up? Is he here somewhere? Where the hell's Viva? Love that guy. Yeah, Viva talked about what, Paul Pelosi on Twitter and got locked out of his account. So that was nice. I'm still waiting for Twitter to answer my appeals. Very rude. Yeah, I know. No, the Onion article or the Onion brief was actually funny. It was the first thing the Onion did in years that's been worth anything. So yes, when I say Onion funny, I mean it. Oh, just on his stream just now. What's up, Viva? I really like that guy. He's genuine good stuff. Genuine good stuff. Grand Rapids PD officer, sure. Patrick Loyola was shot in April. Oh, yeah. The cop was charged with second-degree murder, and judge did probable cause hearing last week. Supposed to rule today. Well, I can tell you what the probable cause hearing is going to come out. Probable cause. Okay, when I say this, don't yell at me because I'm just delivering you the truth. Seems like there's probable cause on that one. That does not mean the cop is guilty of shooting that guy or of murdering that guy, but he did shoot someone who's laying on the ground in the back. That's gonna get you past probable cause most of the time. So, probable cause hearings are very, very low bars to cross. Jonathan, I get horror movie hangovers where I feel like crap for a week afterwards. Well, Cabin Fever 2 would definitely do that. It was one of the worst movies I've ever watched. God, it was so fucking bad. Thank you for reporting back, Welsh Fluff. He said Viva's a great dude. I hope to meet Viva someday. Hopefully soon. It's been too long. Oh yeah, of course. Gonna ask you guys over here in Rumble Land to pound that plussy. Pound it hard. Pound it hard. Oh, have you guys seen this? This is what we need to talk about for a few minutes. From the Atlantic. I haven't read this yet, but let's declare a pandemic amnesty. We need to forgive one another for what we did and said when we were in the dark about COVID. We weren't in the dark about COVID. There was no in the dark about COVID. What you did and said had nothing to do with COVID also. This is a critical fucking thing. First of all, COVID was some bullshit. COVID was some bullshit. The overwhelming majority of people were wildly safe from COVID. I lost a couple friends to COVID, which sucks. Really does. Great people. Much better people than me. I had my week, I guess it was 10 days or so of COVID. It was terrible, and lost my sense of taste for whatever I had for a month. Awful. But at the same time, like, what they did during COVID was worse. What they did to us during COVID was worse. Almost 2 years of masks, of compliance, months of businesses being shut down arbitrarily to stop them. No thoughts on other ways to actually just control or contain stuff. No thoughts on personal responsibility, accountability. No thoughts of any of that. No, the government will save you. The government will stop the disease from getting to you if you just fucking listen. Hey, look, listen. Get in your house. Stay there. Don't worry, we'll put a webcam in. No. No, thank you. I don't want to do that. But that's what we let them do. And we let them convince us they could shut down any business they wanted arbitrarily. Oh, this one, but not that one, but not this one. Not our friends. Not our friends. Just anything fun. And now we're supposed to forget it all. I don't think this is going to go the way I think this article is going to go, though. I don't think so, but let's see. In April of 2020, we had nothing else to do. My family took an enormous number of hikes. We all wore cloth masks that I had made myself. This is what gets me. Look, I put a t-shirt over my face. It's fine. Now I'm not going to get a tiny pathogen into my, I'm not going to suck in anything because it'll get stuck on a cloth mask that I made. We had a family hand signal, which the person in the front would use if someone was approaching on the trail and we needed to put on our masks. Once When another child got too close to me, to my then 4-year-old son on a bridge, he yelled at her, "Social distancing!" He learned that from you. He learned this from you. Ring Rocket says, GRPD officer going to trial for contested shoot over suspect Loyola with a taser. The witness in the prelim stated Loyola was running like a slave, and the family is represented by Ben Crump. Oh, no. Engineer, love Viva. Viva is Florida man now. His new hairstyle proves it. That's true. He is. Okay, back to this. These precautions were totally misguided. In April 2020, no one got the coronavirus from passing someone else hiking. Outdoor transmission was vanishingly rare. Our cloth masks made out of old bandanas wouldn't have done anything anyway. But the thing is, we didn't know. I knew. How did you? This motherfucker right here. How did you not know that a bandana over your face will not stop you from getting a communicable airborne disease? How do you not know? Let's see. We got No Guard says forgiveness can be to an individual who gives a sincere apology for wrongs done. That is it. Oh, they're going to sincerely apologize now. We're sorry, by the way, that we completely fucked the economy. We're sorry, by the way, that we may have done irreparable damage to, a generation of children. We're sorry that small businesses were routinely completely destroyed. Generational businesses were completely destroyed while big business and big corporations swept in and took over to fill those voids because they could absorb the loss. Matt P. Predictions for the outcome of No Ralph November might be my favorite thought experiment idea in a long time. I'm not familiar with it. Was that from Jim's stream? I haven't watched it yet. I have been reflecting on this lack of knowledge thanks to a class I'm co-teaching at Brown University on COVID. Wait, why are you teaching a class on COVID if you didn't know a bandana wouldn't stop you from getting it? We've spent several lectures reliving the first year of the pandemic, discussing the many important choices we had to make under conditions of tremendous uncertainty. And again, it's this language, the language of force, the language of no agency. We just have to. We just have to do it. We just have to do it. Because if we don't do it, who knows what will happen? Maybe we'll all die. Maybe. If we don't just get away from freedom, then we might possibly be in danger. This is how freedom always goes, too. It goes by the wayside to people who never believed in it and suddenly have an excuse for authoritarianism. Some of these choices turned out better than others. To take an example close to my own work, there's an emerging, if not universal, consensus that schools in the U.S. were closed for too long. Oh, gee, you think? With all of the data, all of it, every bit of data was that kids were not at risk. Just all of the data. Well, kids are out too long. Yeah, so we all said. Why are you shutting the schools down? Why are you doing that? Why are you pinching the parents even more? I have a theory. Part of a theory was that shutting the schools down was to force the remote workplace a little bit more, to shut more businesses down, to make parents have to stay home, to make parents have to quit jobs. Shake the core of the country. Hit the foundations. Hit marriages. Hit employment. Hit the economy. Get people compliant. Test run for the real crises, by the way. The real one that's coming. The totally real one that's next. The health risks of in-school spread were relatively low. Not just relatively low. I think a year into it, we had not even reached 1,000 child deaths from COVID across the entire country, which saying not even 1,000 sounds horrible, but when you consider like all of the other sources, 1,000 across the whole country was nothing. I think may have been less than 100 below like 15 or something. It was so little. Engineer one side benefit making schools online caused parents to find out what was actually being taught in their kids' classroom. Yes, that was the recoil and repercussion. People saw critical race theory and other bullshit like that being shoved down their kids' throats. Whereas the cost to students' well-being and educational progress were high. Oh, you think so? Latest figures on learning loss are alarming. But in spring and summer of 2020, we had only glimmers of information. Reasonable people who cared about children and teachers advocated on both sides of the reopening debate. Oh, I didn't know there were reasonable people on the other side. They were all monsters, right? They were all monsters and liars and alt-right Nazis. They were just contrarian. They were just trying to sabotage Biden. Another example, when the vaccines came out, we lacked definitive data on the relative efficacies of the Johnson & Johnson shot versus the mRNA options from Pfizer and Moderna. Oh, did we? How? How could we lack the data? How could we lack the information? Why would that be? Why was everybody who asked any fucking questions about either of these things shut down, silenced, censored, banned, removed, stopped? Don't talk. Don't dissent. The regime has spoken. Speaking of the regime speaking, what's up, Steve? You're muted. You're muted somewhere.
I'm the regime now, am I?
Yes, you are. Welcome to the show, man.
Hey, thanks. Just yeah, I just tuned in. I'm sorry if I've missed anything, but I'm sure it was an action-packed episode so far.
We're just waiting on Brooks here.
Oh, wonderful. Yes, can't get enough of Brooks.
Yeah, he's a gem.
Gem.
But yeah, man. So in the meanwhile, I was just reading this article from the Atlantic about how we need to have a COVID amnesty for all of the shit they got wrong, and all the stuff they did to people. We need to just forgive them for like locking people up needlessly, for doing all the harm to children, for all that stuff. Just Steve.
So
they
it's
just didn't know.
An amnesty for whom? For the people who didn't get the shots, the people who spoke out against them originally, or the people that were the tyrants who used it as a weapon?
Steve, why would you give amnesty to the wrong? You only give amnesty to the tyrant. You only give it to the party in power.
Well, I mean, what kind of blowback is really going to happen from this? I mean, none. So how about let's just stop the masking, stop the mandates, and let's learn a lesson from this and vote out any of these tyrannical people who don't want to have open debates about anything. Right?
Yeah, no, but see what you missed.
I'm sorry, I'm missing something.
The amnesty isn't about forgiving what they do on this one, because they're not going to face any consequences for this one. There will be nothing. There's not going to be any investigations into, I don't know how this virus came to be, like why the funding from the U.S. Filtered through U.S. Universities and into Wuhan to do the research for this. Not going to be any. No one needs to answer for that. The lying to Congress directly by Fauci, and the lying to the public by Fauci, even worse, because lying to Congress not only shouldn't be a crime, it should be encouraged.
Well, what about Bannon? Or, it's like, so he's going to jail for 60 days for contempt of Congress, prosecuted, convicted of a felony for saying these people have no authority. That committee is improperly constituted. It's a witch hunt. It's a political gulag. And for him saying that, he's going to get locked up, right? But then if you're what's the woman who is that smug woman that always gives the nose up in the air of the IRS? and she targeted all the conservative groups.
Oh God, yeah, I don't remember her name.
Lois Lerner.
Yeah.
She lied to Congress. She stuck her nose up. She's living high on the hog, retired, and there was no consequence for that IRS targeting of conservative groups. I mean, it goes on and on and on. I mean, the level of weaponization in our federal government against the people is crazy. And there needs to be an accounting. I'm not saying, amnesty, okay, fine, but they need to clear out. You know what they need to do is block grant all of these agencies back to the states. That's what they need to do. So if you got the Department of Education, you got a $50 billion budget, then send it back $1 billion to every state, or proportionate by senator or whatever it has to be. But block grant those things, devolve the power back from the government to the local.
A federal Department of Education is offensive to the notions of the U.S. founding. Education was supposed to be localized. It doesn't make sense to federalize it.
Even on top of that, there is not one teacher in the United States that is paid for by the federal Department of Education. That is all state employees. The teachers are all state. So every dollar that goes to the feds is not one that goes to the teacher on the ground. And on top of that, the functions that they say that they are accomplishing, federalization of education, right? That we're gonna do the research on effective techniques for teaching and all that. That is a traditional function of the teachers' unions, but they have been relieved of that. It's been federalized, and now the unions are Democratic lobbying groups.
Yep, and with enforced political contributions through the way of extracting money from their paycheck and forcing them directly into Democrat coffers.
Exactly,
it's insane.
It needs to, because I used to run, before I was a lawyer, I was the executive officer for our local home builders association.
How long have you been alive?
Well,
you're like, well, I've been a public defender for 76 years, and
there's our lady.
Yeah.
Let me kick this volume up a little bit over here.
And then I think we're hightailing it over there.
She just misses him. That's all. Really, this is just an opportunity for her to see her beloved.
Like, I don't want to say I miss you, but it don't feel the same without you.
Oh, thank you.
I can't hear my grounds around you. After all, it's the same old story. What do we got? Go for Big Guy says, no, hell no, no amnesty. We need Nuremberg trials with public hangings for each and every person who lied, propagated lies, and made the virus, every single one of them. Nah, man, nothing's going to happen to any of these people.
There's our boy.
He's up.
He's ready to go. He's got his Sovereign Citizen book out.
They gave him like 6 bang energies. He's ready to go.
I just left something upstairs.
Runner BRQX says, testing my first Rumble rant. You succeeded, my friend. The vaccine is a joke. The election was stolen. Nancy Pelosi is a demi-lich. We need to audit the Fed. Anime was a mistake. And so was I. Nailed it.
I like the demi-lich. That's wonderful. That's very D&D.
Yeah. Jeez.
Ooh, look at this clock. So he doesn't get enough. I got my grounds mug. I'll have to show you. I've got it.
You got one?
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
Nice.
Grounds. Yeah, we're not going to, I don't know how much we're going to be doing. Like once I get off this Brooks thing, we'll have to figure something else to do.
Oh, there's always something to talk about.
Yeah, we got a lot to talk about. I was thinking what we could do after this hearing is we can go through. I posted a little thingy on my Rumble channel, but nobody watches my Rumble channel. They're all on the Rekieta channel, but it's
I hope everybody on Rumble's saying that soon.
Well, yeah. But I did a thing on how I would defend Brooks if I got his case.
Everybody should watch that.
Yeah, and then I also did one on grading the participants in the Wisconsin murder trial here. So those are 2 things that are, my channel is so scattered, man. It's all over the place. I'm just posting whatever I want. I'm over 25 cents now, by the way.
Nice.
I know.
That's big. I can't wait for your first $1.
We'll have a party.
No, but here's what I like about Rumble so far. So YouTube has very algorithm heavy distribution of content. So if you focus your channel on the same thing, like to an autistic level, speaking of which, focused, not autistic. Welcome, Aussie Overlord.
Oh, there he is.
How you doing, buddy?
Morning.
Echo
Yeah,
time.
good.
If you focus your content on YouTube and like do the same type of thing on the same schedule for 2 weeks straight, it will kick up the algorithm. It'll just start ticking up. And so then you got to kind of keep with the same thing to really keep your channel on task. You have to somehow build a brand or attach to some sort of brand of a thing. So like I do this type of movie review, whatever. But if you start deviating from that at all, it messes with the distribution. Rumble's different. Rumble's a lot harder to get. The echoes,
That's what happens when you're down under.
No, it's StreamYard has just, now you add a guest and the echo just gets screwed up. It's crazy. So
Echo?
hopefully that'll fix it. What was I saying? Shit.
Shit. Algorithms, Rumble algorithms. So you're saying, because my channel is all over the place. I'm like,
Yeah.
am I echoing you? My channel's got like music and faith and law and more music and life tips. And it's just like whatever I'm thinking, firearms, whatever I'm thinking about at the time, it just kind of comes out. No focus at all. And
on Rumble, it's more about building an audience than it is about building an algorithm feed. And for me, that's nice because I get all over the place too. But how you doing, Aussie? What's up, buddy?
Yeah, no, good. Saw the Rekieta signal in the sky, so I figured I should get my ass in here. It was good. Took the daughter trick or treating for the first time yesterday, which was fun. Yeah, having a good time.
Oh wait, I guess I don't know how old she is, so you don't have to say if you don't want to, but you can.
No, she's just gone 4, so she's finally able to enjoy those sorts of things.
Yeah,
and
good age.
It's sort of I think this year's sort of the first year where it's sort of permeated enough that there were a lot of kids out like going trick or treating and that sort of thing here. So it was a good time. It was really fun.
Awesome.
What I'm loving though is here in Victoria tomorrow. So today for me is a public holiday because we have a public holiday for a horse race, and it's always going to be that we go from Halloween into a public holiday for me. So I'm going to enjoy this every single year from now on.
See, that's
what
cool.
is it? Is that Australian?
No, it's just Victorian. So Melbourne Cup Day. So I don't know why they decided to make
Victoria,
a public holiday for a horse
Australia.
race.
Right.
Oh yes,
So.
sorry.
Yeah. No, my mom grew up in New Orleans, and at the time, New Orleans was so heavily Catholic that they would get All Souls Day off from the schools down there. The public schools and the private schools would have All Souls Day off, which is I think that's day after Halloween, or is it All Saints Day? All Saints Day is the day after Halloween, whichever one it is. I can't remember. It's been so long since I've paid attention to the Catholic calendar.
But come on, we got to bring you back to the fastest growing church on earth.
They all say that.
Like Monty Python says, "You ever watch Meaning of Life?"
Yeah. Yes, I love that movie. My favorite's the Universe song. They're trying to get that guy's kidney or his liver.
Wherever you live then.
Yeah. All right. But no, so they always had the day after Halloween off. And so then poor her, when she was a kid, they moved to Houston and she got boned out of that. Nope. Had to go to school the next day. It's terrible. And then I got moved to Minnesota, which was even worse because that means you get a costume and then you put a winter coat over it to go outside because it's so damn cold. It's awful.
Well, that's we don't really celebrate Halloween. I know that I'm not really a Halloween-y kind of guy. I mean, I don't know. It's people love dressing up. It's so corporatized with all the candy and stuff. And did you see this thing in Seoul? And we don't have legal vices on, but man, 150
Oh yeah, that was crazy.
Killed? What all that's trampling? Whew, horrible.
All because there was some pseudo celebrity. So
was it like a K-pop band? person or something?
I didn't actually look too heavily into it, but I don't actually think there was actually even confirmed that person was there. There was a rumor that they were that they were at some bar at one end of the street, and everyone sort of just rushed right towards it. So
I can't imagine rushing towards anybody. So and so's over there. Oh, okay. I'll get there eventually. Like I met some pretty cool people in my travels as far as like some minor celebrity goes. And there's just no one where I'm like,
For Old Call State of Wisconsin versus Darrell Brooks, case
Oh,
number 21 CF 1848. May I have the appearances, please?
over under on subject matter jurisdiction.
Sir, please state your name for the record.
That's a loser's bet
I'm
there.
here as third-party intervener in that matter, appearing as authorized representative for my client. I set for value in return for value all of the charging instruments in this matter and make my exemption available for discharge of all obligations and charges connected with this case. I do not dispute any of the facts in the charging instruments and state for
Why
the
not?
record that I do not identify by the name stated.
Why would you not? Your whole
The record should reflect that the
Whole
individual
basis
known
should
to
have been
this court as Darrell
rejecting
Brooks
the
is
facts of
present
the charging
in
instrument.
custody
Maybe you would have
in
won.
person. He is appearing in jail attire today. The court is here to address a couple of things. Of course,
He's going to stay in jail
the
attire for the rest
scheduling
of the
of
time. There's no
sentencing.
more jury.
I also want to address a letter that was sent to the parties late last week on the 28th regarding the unsealing of search warrants, a filing from Mr. Brooks, and then an issue just as it relates to the record and the use of restraints during the trial, given a statement that was made by
What am I
Mr.
drinking?
Brooks
I've got
when the
a
jury was coming
lemon
out
lime twister bubbler.
after they had reached their verdicts.
Just a
So
caffeine.
I'll start with the search warrant issue. The parties should have
Sparkling water.
received the letter dated October 28th, advising the parties that the court will be unsealing all of the search warrants tomorrow, November 1st, unless there's an objection that is raised. Of course, that's based in law and fact. And I indicated in that letter we would address any objections at this hearing. So I'll start with the state. Do you have any objection to that?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Brooks?
I have not received anything. I'm quite sure, or I don't know if you knew, but the very second that I left your courtroom Wednesday, Your Honor, I was placed on suicide watch. I was told that it was per jail administration.
Yeah. Okay.
That it was policy. It was nothing I could do about it. They immediately took me right from court, stripped my cell. I talked to mental health. They changed me right over into the smock. And I was basically placed on that. They just gave me regular clothes maybe 10 minutes before I came to your courtroom, Your Honor. So I haven't, I wasn't
printed it
allowed
off.
any
We'll give
mail.
it to you.
Huh?
I had the letter printed off and we'll give it to you now so you can take a moment to review it. It really says everything that I just put on the record just now as well.
I accept for value in return for
Wait a
value
minute.
this document.
Was she just completely not listening to him because she didn't respond to what he was saying? She
He
said
doesn't
something-
care.
That was great.
Who cares? It's like, poor you.
I would just note there's a typo in your name, but so my apologies for that.
Oh, no,
so the
he's not
whole-
guilty.
He walks out of
There's
court.
references to
Yes!
this number.
Oh, he did it. Finally.
Yeah, he's not suicidal. He loves himself way too much.
Oh yeah.
The only thing he cares about in the world is himself. So why would he kill that?
Oh, my goodness.
When was this letter? Because like I said, I've been on watch, so I haven't been able to obtain any mail whatsoever. Not from the courts, not personal mail, not anything.
Digger 1420.
So
Cheers
that
to your
was,
dad. 48 years sober.
Signed
Very
on
respectable.
Friday and then
May he be
sent
forever
over.
sober and forever healthy.
I'm not
Cheers.
sure if it was emailed or if it was just delivered to the jail. I don't know if Madam Clerk has any information. It was done by my other clerk, but in any event, you have it before you. What I can tell you, sir, is that normally search warrants may be sealed for a period of time. All of these warrants were set to be unsealed previously, but due to the pretrial publicity and the various orders related to the jury, including the use of the jury questionnaire. I had, at the request of the parties,
I get the
and
reasoning
with the
behind
consent
sealed
of all
warrants, but I
parties,
hate them.
sealed or continued the seal on all of these documents, and the previous order indicated that everything would be unsealed either November 30th or at the conclusion of the jury trial, whichever came first. Of course, the jury trial is now concluded, even though the case hasn't gone to sentencing. So my intent would be to unseal everything tomorrow, unless you have an objection and it's based in law.
I object.
I don't
Like
understand.
you said, this is my. I didn't even know that this was even sent over to the jail until right now, until you told me.
Understood. Do you have an objection
Who
to
cares?
what I propose to do? So
I
It's
don't
irrelevant.
even
Move on.
understand. What do you mean by sealed and unsealed? I don't.
it would become a matter of the public record, and anyone could review those search warrants if they make a request.
Search warrants for what property?
There's a number of search warrants that have been sealed as it relates to this case.
Your SUV, your butthole,
From what I saw, everything's been pretty much public.
except for the search warrants, which were sealed.
I don't see why they need to be unsealed at this point. Everything's pretty much been public already.
All right, well, I am going to unseal them effective tomorrow. The clerk's office is instructed that first thing tomorrow morning, they may unseal all of the search warrants in this case. The next issue I want to address is I want to make a record specifically as it relates to the restraints that the Sheriff's Department utilized during this case, given a comment made by Mr. Brooks when the jury was coming out the very last time. I don't recall if you said something about a stun belt or shackles or something to that effect, but it was inaccurate. I have asked the Sheriff's Department to provide photographic documentation of the shackles that were utilized in this case. Parties will recall the tables look a little different now because there are no table skirts on them. On all defense tables in the secure courtroom, there is a ring. It's really
Well, now that the tables aren't wearing skirts, they're kind of asking for it, aren't
that
they?
is attached to the leg of the table, and an inmate who's in custody but in trial, a soft restraint system is utilized, primarily so it's soft and not heard. And then it's attached to the table so that it confines the inmate to a small area with that table. Obviously, during the trial, Mr. Brooks was able to stand. His hands were free, but I felt it important to have a thorough record of the restraints that were utilized. The photographs that have been provided are on a compact disc. They will be filed as Court Exhibit 3, but they will remain under seal. And that is because of the security concerns related to how the Sheriff's Department secures inmates during a trial. That certainly is an overriding interest, overriding any public interest to see what those restraints are. And I would just further note that during the trial, when Mr. Brooks would be brought from the holding area into the courtroom, this courtroom was closed to the public. And that was really to maintain that privacy, if you will, or secrecy, if you will.
See the gears in his head turning and not getting anywhere.
It's important that that information not be released to the public. It will be available, of course, to the court and the parties. And if there is an appeal, any
I don't understand, Your Honor.
you can certainly look at that, but it'll otherwise be under seal. So
Why would
the
that-
record is very clear on the restraint system that was utilized during this trial.
I have a question to that.
Okay.
Why is that remaining sealed, but everything else being open to the public?
I've indicated my reasons, sir, on the record. I'm not going to restate them. So
Well, I think that the public, if they're allowed to see search warrant information and things like that, then
These
I
are
think that they
unrelated.
should know that it was a shock device on my ankles. That
there was no shock device.
It
on
was
your
a
ankle,
shock
sir.
device. I was told it was a shock.
Aww.
Mr. Brooks.
We were
And
live.
it was
That's why I'm
covered
making
up.
the record.
It was covered up by a black cloth, so the jury purposely could not see it, and so that the public cannot see it. I was told that a chair had to be placed on my side so that no one can see that I was shackled with ankle shocks. I think the public should know that. The jury should have known that. That's what they were.
Mr. Brooks, I've made my ruling. Your
I
characterization
respect your
of
ruling,
those
but it
as-
should be
hold on.
noted.
Your
it should be
objection is
noted.
noted for the record.
It should be noted that I had a shock device on my ankles. That's fact.
Next issue.
It's
is
a
not
fact.
sir.
It is a fact. I'm the one that had them on my ankles. I inquired about what they were. I'm going to inquire about what's being put on my body. I was told that there were a
It's
shock
not that
device,
obvious.
which I know how a shock device looks.
They just told him it was a shock device. It really wasn't.
I know what a shock device is. It was clearly a shock device that was purposely not shown to the jury or to the public.
You keep going, you're going to get a shock device.
Now you're saying that
Is
it's
this a
going to be
shackle
sealed.
now? This is
Well, why should it be sealed?
my headcanon on this got
The
so much
public
Mr.
less.
Brooks,
deserves-
you're
the public deserves
you've
to
made
know.
a record,
The
and
public
it's
deserves
noted.
to know about
And
things pertaining to a search warrant, but not the fact that I was limited by a shock device.
Yes.
That if I moved the
Who
wrong way,
cares?
I could have got shocked with all this
it's
voltage.
absolutely false.
How
That
much
you have
voltage?
shock
That is not
device
false.
on.
Who cares?
No, that is
Who
not
cares?
Well, I have,
She just wants to argue.
You
with
show
you.
That will be
where's
part
the
of the
photographs?
record.
Where's the photographs?
and they
You
will
just
be
said they would be
sealed
sealed. Why do they need to
from
be
public
sealed?
view
Why
for
do
the
they need to
reasons
be
that I've
sealed from
already
the public?
indicated.
Why do they need to be sealed
Mr.
from
Brooks,
the public?
I need to move on to scheduling.
Can we move on to subject matter jurisdiction that hasn't been proved?
No,
Can we move on to that?
Mr. Brooks, I really
Damn
don't want to remove you from the courtroom today.
It-
But I need to move
I don't
on
want to
to-
be removed, but you're not going to sit here and tell me on the record what was on my body when I was told what it was. That's inaccurate. And I refuse.
At a
Your
later
Honor,
point in time, I
Your
will
Honor,
put.
I refuse to sit here and let you make an inaccurate record when you
Okay.
know that it was in fact a shock device. That's why I had the
You
black
should want her to
cloth
make an
in front of
inaccurate
the
record.
table so it couldn't be shown.
That's
That's
not
why I had
right.
a chair sitting on the side of me that was told needs to cover
Send
up
him
the
out.
fact that I had a shock
He
device.
doesn't need to be in
on
there
my
for
ankle.
this.
No, it doesn't matter either.
And I think it's very, very, very unfair, and it's dishonorable
Very,
to
very.
get on a record and not tell the truth.
Keep looking at the
I'm
camera.
not trying to dishonor
Darrell.
you, Your Honor. I'm not trying to disrespect you. I'm not trying to disrespect your court. I just want the truth to be told. That should not be sealed. If everything else can be open to the public, then the public should know that I had a shock device on
Having
my
the
ankle.
search warrants open to the public
That
is
was purposely
protecting
not
you,
shown to
you
the jury
dummy.
or to the public.
It's
should
protecting
know that.
you to have it transparent. That's the
All right,
point.
thank you, Mr. Brooks. I disagree wholeheartedly with your
Well, it's
characterization.
not true.
Mr. Brooks, I didn't interrupt you. Please
It's not
don't
true.
interrupt me.
It's not true.
Mr. Brooks,
I'm quite sure there's cameras rolling right now because there are always cameras rolling.
Always cameras.
There's always audio on.
Mr.
Browns.
Brooks, I need
There's
to move on to
There's public in the
scheduling.
courtroom. I had a shock device on my ankles, and they purposely did not want to show that to you guys or to the jury.
Justice for Darrell.
That's
Justice
right.
for
I'm
Darrell.
advising you,
Here,
Justice for the shock collar.
Mr.
that's
Brooks,
the
I'm
reason why.
advising you.
And I always had the chair right here. Everybody that came to this courtroom seen
Look,
that I had a chair right
Bailiff,
here.
you got
even though I had
to
no
get those
counsel.
hands uncrossed.
What
Get
is
them
the
ready.
reason for me to have a chair right here?
All right, Mr. Brooks,
Why
any
did I have a black cloth
any
in front of the
further
table?
interruptions will result in you being removed to the other courtroom
Okay,
because
and
you're
you're
not
holding
letting
me in
move
contempt.
on
That's
to
okay.
scheduling.
Is it civil contempt or criminal contempt?
All right, one more interruption and you will go to
It's
the
not
other courtroom.
contempt.
Well, they need to know that.
Stop.
They need to know that.
She
They need
used
to
an
know
I'm
electrified
going to
butt
ask the
plug
state
next
some
time.
questions. If you interrupt when I do that, you will be removed to the
Okay,
other
remove
courtroom.
me then.
Bye. Take it. Accept it. Boom. Remove him.
Attorney
It's
Basie.
not going to stop the fact that they need
All
to know
right,
that a shock device
he's
is on my
interrupted.
ankle.
I'm sorry, everyone. We'll have to clear the courtroom. He will be removed to the other courtroom.
Why do you have
That's-
to clear the
that's all right.
courtroom?
Findings.
Tell the
To
truth,
remove
though,
him
Your
now.
Honor.
They
Tell
don't want the
truth.
video
I had a
to be
shock-
on when he gets
I had a shock device
forcibly
on my
removed.
ankle.
Please see you. We're off.
She's just trying to hide that shock collar that they still got on his legs. She's just denying the truth. Now they're going to shock him. The moment that camera's off. Bzz, 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 bzz.
Who was that comedian? Remember from way back? He used to say, "And that's the truth." Remember she used to drink. He had the lollipop. Lily Tomlin, I think it was. She's
Oh.
played this little kid, and she'd talk, and then she'd say, and she'd have a little sucker, and she'd play like a little kid. That's the truth. Do you
She's
remember that?
no, I didn't.
Before
didn't
your
watch-
time. You're young and naive.
You know, I watched plenty of old comedians. I just didn't watch women.
She was pretty funny in the old day, though. She got to be like a crazy lefty in her old
Yeah.
age, but
No, I know. I'm just kidding.
Shocker.
She was in 9 to 5, right?
right.
Yeah. Okay. Fair Frozen 55 in deranged voice. Hey, Steve, how about discussing that question I've asked 5 times already about death sentences when life extension medicines are hypothetically easy to do and make you live forever?
What do you want? Do you want me to answer? How
Go ahead.
How much did he donate?
Enough.
Well, that's an interesting hypothetical that we will have to tackle in a long form interview at some point. Wouldn't life in prison be much worse if there was life extension technology?
Yeah, but I think he's asking about the ethical implications of it. Like, because like if you could theoretically make someone live forever, but then imprison them for eternity, that's horrifying.
It is horrifying. I think that was the premise of remember the Foundation series? I think it was on the Sci-Fi Channel. And that show I had such hopes. Foundation by Isaac Asimov is one of my favorite books. And they did this novelette of it. And it was started out okay. I was like into it, but it went off the tracks and it's so bad, all this political correctness and stuff. But one of the things I was sort of interested in the Emperor scenes, and they had this torture where they would lock somebody up and they'd live forever, but they were tortured and imprisoned and in pain for eternity. Like, it
didn't sound good.
No. So this is kind of the ethical implication was tipped upon in the Foundation, the bad Sci-Fi Channel Foundation series.
Okay.
How about
what do you
that?
think about it? What do you think about it, though?
Well, I'm against the death penalty. I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
Yeah, but if there is no death,
right?
Are you for like an eternal life imprisonment?
Well, that's called hell. Hell is eternal life imprisonment with no possibility of parole and
so
torture.
You're in favor of hell then?
Well, it doesn't matter what I think, does it? I'm against it, actually. If I was to say, I hope that I make it the other way. But if we're talking life in prison without possibility of parole, with endless torturing and no redemption, that kind of already exists.
We'd have to like have some sort of. There'd have to be an end at some point.
I think this is quite theoretical. This is quite.
Did you ever watch Black Mirror?
No.
Aussie, did you watch Black Mirror?
No, I didn't. I saw snippets and that sort of thing, but I didn't really have time for it.
There was this one where they could basically put your consciousness into like an AI, like a virtual reality simulation or whatever, but they could change the passage of time. So like you might be in there for a second, but it could be like 1,000 years.
One. Yeah.
That is terrifying. So people would get sentenced to like 10 years or whatever, but it'd only be like a minute that they'd actually be out of commission. But in their mind, it would be like a decade. But that way it allowed them to serve their sentence and like get back to being productive or whatever in society. But I think they accidentally turned like the one episode, they accidentally turned it to like 4 billion years or something that the guy was stuck in his mind.
Kind of like Narnia. Isn't Narnia? There's like different time streams.
Time dilation, whatever you want to call it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, look, if there's endless prison though, if there's no torture involved, because cruel and unusual punishment, whatever you want to call it, after a while, wouldn't the prisoner specifically become just immune to it and just go about their day-to-day life? In which case, it's just a drain on society. Paying to keep them in there and that sort of thing.
These questions are actually quite complex, and I mean, I don't want to give you a snap knee-jerk reaction answer.
State versus Brooks appearances are as they were before. Mr. Brooks, if you interrupt me, I will mute you so that I can make an adequate record.
Yes.
Regarding
me anyway, Your Honor.
All right, he interrupted. I will mute him. I
Do
need
it.
to make
Mute
a
him
record
all
of
day.
his
He's
removal.
done. This is a
The
scheduling
court
conference.
did
You don't
warn
need
Mr.
any of
Brooks
this.
repeatedly that if he continued to be disruptive, the court would remove him to the other courtroom. It was my sincere hope that would not need to take place today. I gave him the final warning, and then I indicated I would be turning to the state to ask them some questions. And if he interrupted that process, he would be removed. He immediately interrupted that.
Why is she restating all this? It's on the record. She doesn't need to talk
into
like
the
that.
other courtroom. I have confirmed
She's
that
annoying.
the audio and visual technology is working. He can hear, he can see, at least the other individuals in there confirmed that was the case. He was audible for a little bit when I first went on the record, but he continued to be disruptive.
By the way, to the audience out there, we got over 15,000 on Rumble, which is great.
So that I could make an adequate record.
How many on Odyssey?
Although this is really a scheduling hearing today,
Got another 150
I
on
will
Odyssey.
make a finding under
We do
Illinois
have,
versus
of course,
Allen
the best chat.
that his
The best
conduct
chat
was
presenting this
did
stream as
disregard
always. It's
the elementary standards of proper
rekietalaw.locals.com.
conduct of
The
decorum
only
and
chat
courtesy.
on the
He
internet.
was disruptive. He interrupted multiple times and challenged this court when this court was making a record regarding the restraints that were utilized throughout this trial. I'm not going to do it today,
on the
but I
record,
will
Your
at
Honor?
a later point
Subject
in
matter
time.
jurisdiction.
Perhaps after scheduling, I will have a deputy testify regarding the restraints that were utilized, so that there is a full and complete record about what was
She's
utilized,
serious.
not utilized throughout this trial. It is absolutely false that a stun belt of any kind was used on Mr. Brooks. I don't know if he's receiving that information from other inmates, but
He
that was
knows what
not
they look like,
utilized in
he
this
said.
case. It was a soft leg restraint setup, if you will, where he was shackled his ankles with the soft restraints and the soft strap so that it did not make noise. That was all attached to the table. And it is absolutely true that there was a black table skirt on the tables, both the state's table, the defense table in this courtroom, despite Mr. Brooks believing that it was not done for his benefit. It was to shield that information from the jury. It's also true that at all times when he has been brought into court, it's been before the court has been open to the public. If this court needed to remove him to the other courtroom, it was also done with the courtroom closed to the public. That was, of course, a security decision made by the sheriff's department. They are in charge of his security as well as the court's security during any court proceeding in this courthouse.
I like that angle. He just looks like a guy on a bus.
Discretion and decision on what restraints
He's got the thing like the
would
bus
be
seat in front of him,
utilized. And
right
again,
here. He's
I'll
got the
go through
headphones
that
on.
later
Looks pissed.
and have a record made of what was utilized, including having one of the
Fort
deputies
grounds.
identify what's on the exhibit. I'm not going to
She'll
show
rise again.
publicly. Again, there are security reasons.
Would it never have
frankly need inmates doing research or the public doing research on what these restraints are. There's an important security aspect related to keeping courts safe, keeping inmates safe, and that is why I'm sealing that information from public view. So
Does she get paid by the word?
Practices have that, frankly, veil of secrecy. It's important given the security issues.
Ooh, that's a level 3
It's a law
spell.
enforcement function.
The veil of secrecy.
And that is my decision on that. As far as Mr. Brooks being in the other courtroom, again, I did that pursuant to the authority found in Illinois versus Allen. I did not hold him in contempt. Frankly, because it's a scheduling type hearing, I could simply have him taken back to the jail and he could appear by phone, but I've chosen to have him appear by video and audio means from the other courtroom. With that,
Stay
I am
out,
going
Judge.
to address scheduling. I will be asking each party in turn how much time they believe they need to present their various sentencing remarks and whether anyone will be speaking.
Well, now you're just building a fort around her.
I'll turn to the state first.
Thank you, Your Honor. To date, we have indications from the victims or their families that 36 people would like to either have a statement read or they'd like to read it themselves. We have approximately 5 to 10 others that would like to submit one in writing, which obviously wouldn't impact the time that we would need on the sentencing
36
date.
recitations. Oh, boy.
I would think that the state's comments would be between a half an hour to 45 minutes in total. So we're looking probably at about 4 to 4.5 hours. We will need some time to rotate victims out of the courtroom as they come in and to speak, because we can't fit everyone in the courtroom at one time. So we'll need to get one set in, get another one to room 115 so that they can hear what's being said. So we're thinking 4 hours, and speaking with the families and the victims Wednesday after the verdict. I think there's a strong desire to have the sentencing before the anniversary of the parade incident, and that obviously is November 21st. In checking with people, November 15th, 16th works for everyone. Specifically, the 16th works for everyone that would like to talk. I know that this court obviously has court calendars. I do have other dates that would work. Unfortunately, those go out to the end of December, end of November, beginning of December. But again, I can't emphasize enough. There are a lot of families who are leaving town the week of the parade, and I think the general consensus would be it would be nice for them to have some finality to this before they leave, so that they're not around here at the time that a loved one was injured or killed.
By any chance, did you have an opportunity to look at my calendar?
Make sure you ask if Mr. Brooks's calendar is open that day.
I mean, one of the cases, for example, I have on the 15th.
What about my calendar, Your Honor?
I don't know if that's going to go or not, but just like this
Shower
court
day.
gave due attention to this case, I need to be mindful that that case has been scheduled since June.
I did not. I received these dates, although I believe that they were probably sent this weekend. I did not check my email over the weekend, so I did receive them this morning, and unfortunately, I did not take the time to do that. We can certainly look right now. Do you know who's handling that attempted homicide from our office?
I believe that's Attorney Sitzberger.
Okay.
There's other cases as well, because it's rare that I wouldn't stack trials. And so there's also another serious felony matter with Attorney Thurston for your office. That one was scheduled in August.
Oh no, Brooks' schedule isn't empty. He's got plenty of time now to do a follow-up to what the business, so he's got his hands full.
Another one with you,
Yes.
Attorney Basie.
A remix.
I'm just looking at the number of.
So interesting comment from locals, like just sentence him and be done with it. Victim statements can go onto the record after the fact. They actually can't, because the victim statements are considered in sentencing. And the problem here is that while he's going to get 6 mandatory sentences, he's got some non-mandatory sentences in there. And there's some theoretical case where all of his mandatory sentences get appealed and he wins.
Change,
But I mean, that's why the process is the way it is.
way that I can.
I can tell you, Attorney Wichow did reach out to Attorney Sitzberger. He indicated, and he said we could put this on the record, he's 98% confident that that will resolve, the attempted homicide will resolve. Attorney Thurston is not in the office today, so I can't speak to that trial.
All right, let me, before we look at dates, of course, let me talk with Mr. Brooks and find out how long he anticipates his sentencing remarks and whether anyone. So, sir, I have unmuted you. If you could speak to scheduling.
Just don't speak.
First, Your Honor, I would just like to say that
It was a shock device.
I know you're well aware that I have ongoing matters in Milwaukee pending too. I have to be in court there in 2 weeks, and those cases are scheduled for trial as well.
I was joking. Did you check with his schedule? There he
I haven't
is.
had the opportunity to speak with my representation over there because of the protocol that I've been on.
Oh, hang on, he's represented over there?
I think it was
Why?
5
He did
days
so well
since
on this one.
I last was in your court.
He's got to wait to fire him till 3 days before the trials.
I would like the opportunity to
Let them do 98%
now
of the
that
work.
obviously this was the big case, obviously. If it pleases the court, if it pleases you, Your Honor, I would at least like to get a disposition on what might happen there. I go to court there in 2 weeks. I'm sure that I would learn a lot more at that time. I'm not sure if I'm going to have the same representation at this point.
No, you'd schedule this one, and then this one would be your conflict for the other trial that you haven't
Do you
gone
have
to
the
schedule.
specific date that you're scheduled?
The 17th. That's for both cases. I don't know why they put both cases on the same date.
Well, then the 16th should be fine for
And
you,
like I said,
Darrell.
I don't know if anything's going to change between now and then. But both of those cases are scheduled to go to trial. and like I said, with the representation there, I don't know what's going to happen
Steve,
with that.
he
As I
actually
said,
is
there's
disputing the schedule
been issues
because he's
for
got
months
another
with
court case.
with that. I know that's
Cheers.
Cheers.
something that Milwaukee has to deal with and not your court. But it would be a great help to me to at least be able to find out what I can find out about what can possibly happen there, and to also do any work that I may need to do on my end to prepare for that.
So I have looked at the dates. You are right. There's a hearing on the 17th at 2 p.m. The trial, though, in that case is not scheduled until December 12th. So my belief would be I could certainly see the judge in that case understanding if we had to go to sentencing, or I chose to go to sentencing on those dates. And it looks like, again, both cases are scheduled for those same dates.
Yeah, it was kind of weird to me. The way they scheduled both cases on the same day was just kind of like, I didn't really understand why they did
Dude,
it
if they're
like
small
that.
cases with small hearings, it's
Well,
it's called
let's talk
expedience.
about a related issue, and that is, do you anticipate anyone speaking on your behalf at the time of sentencing?
I do.
All right.
who?
And do you know how many people you anticipate speaking on your behalf?
I don't know an exact number, Your Honor.
Calling the state of
Rough
Wisconsin.
estimate there be 20 or more.
Bullshit.
You're not getting 20
His own mother
statements.
didn't turn up.
Everybody, obviously, because of the protocol that I've been on. I haven't had the chance to. Essentially, some people will be traveling to Wisconsin from different areas, different states. And I know they've expressed wanting to be there to speak for that. But like I said, me, myself, not being able to have the opportunity to speak with them personally, I don't know exactly how many. And I don't know how many people will be coming from different parts of the states. I would ask, if it pleases Your Honor, to be able to have everyone that does want to speak and does want to address the court, to give them the opportunity to be here for that. I know as far as the people that are here in Wisconsin that will speak.
Steve, you think he's going to get 20 statements?
One thing that they was stressed
like
to
one,
me
maybe
is that
two, maybe two. I don't know why you'd give him two.
how is everything?
You should put file a statement and go in there and there's going to be so many like shysters, internet shysters wanting to testify on his behalf, sending him letters.
Grounds.
So I was just like, yeah, you're right. 17th, that's 2 weeks roughly.
Like the Twitter trollers that went out. You see those guys that were leaving?
Where we're at in those proceedings. Like I said, there's still like some issues going on with the representation. I haven't been able to reach out. Obviously, I can't reach out from where I'm at, collect call wise. And I've had very
I could imagine a couple of like hardcore soft sit people looking to like use it as a platform, but that's not going to be allowed anyway.
In those matters.
I don't know. Would it be allowed? I've never had to deal with that.
I don't know what pleases you, Your Honor.
I can't see why, unless they're related to him.
I guess
you should just block the whole day. Just block the whole day, and that's it.
Time to know exactly who's going to be speaking, where they're going to be traveling from.
Well, I don't know if you heard, the prosecution has 36 speakers.
Right, I heard that.
A little bit more information that I can provide to this court about the proceedings in Milwaukee County.
One of the things that I've done for other cases, and I know I was asked about this previously as well, and I would also offer it up to the parties, is I will also make available Zoom for victims, family members, including your family members, who would like to make a statement on your behalf. The only thing I ask, though, is I'm not just going to open up my Zoom to anybody. And so anyone who wants a relative, a victim, family member to speak, whether it be from the state or from you, Mr. Brooks, is I need to know who, no later than probably a couple of days before. I'm leaning toward scheduling this on the 15th, so that would be like the Friday before, which would be the 11th, so that when they come on the Zoom, they're identified and then I let them in.
Coming on Zoom,
So-
that's Tubin territory.
I understand your concern about the Milwaukee, but if I hold this on the 15th and the 16th by your description of how many people, by what the state said, I think it's going to take about a day to hear the remarks from the parties. And then I would come.
Imagine coming across her on chat roulette. I'd be shocked.
Sentencing. And so probably a day and a half, but I'd set aside both of those days just to
You'd
be
set
on
a
the safe
day
side.
and a half?
In case
Only
it
for the
takes a little
36
bit
people. If you
longer
give him
for
more than
either of the parties
two,
to present their sentencing.
really more than him plus one is
Your Honor,
insane.
I'm not. Were you
Go
done?
ahead.
I didn't want.
Go ahead.
I was trying to make sure I didn't interrupt you.
Go ahead.
She should do this.
Your Honor, with all due respect, if it pleases the court, if it pleases your court, Your Honor, because of my situation, I could benefit from a little bit more time. I'm not asking for
Too
for
bad,
something
dude.
outrageous here. Just enough that I can tie up some of my loose ends, get you the information that you need to be able, if someone has to be present by
Tie up your
phone,
loose ends. Dude, you're
or
not
whatever
leaving.
the case may be.
Yeah,
or to
he's
find
got
out if
appointments. He's
these
got
people
things
are
to
actually
do.
going to travel.
Places to be.
And also still be able to prepare for what I need to prepare for, because obviously I still, regardless to anything, I still have to be prepared to continue court proceedings. I still have to be prepared. It will really, really be a big help and a great benefit if I can have just a little bit more time to tie up the loose ends and get everything
scheduled
done in a timely fashion to be able to be ready to go and present what's needed to the court.
I understand that, sir. The issue the court has is obviously
we just don't give a
wait
shit.
Much longer than that, I would, out of respect for the victims, avoid the week of November 21st. That's also Thanksgiving week. I don't think that would be an appropriate time for sentencing. But then after that, I do have, my calendar is just incredibly full. I have some time
Just
off.
set the date and move on.
I have
Exactly.
trials.
You know what?
Every week,
Something that she has not done that I think she needs to do
all the way up
is
to
reinitiate his
week
request for a
of
public defender.
December 19th.
Because I think this is a new sentencing phase and he can request the public defender
holidays.
for this phase. And I think she needs to do that.
That puts us into January, and I'm not willing to do that. It's just, and plus I need to avoid the week of that trial in case one of your cases goes to trial. So
15th
I
and
think I'm
16th,
giving the
schedule
parties
it, be
ample
done.
time. I'm giving alternate ways for family members to speak, and that is by Zoom or in person, should they wish to be here in person. And I'm willing to clear my calendar, even of those trials. Hopefully my trials resolve, but to the extent that they don't, then I will clear Tuesday the 15th. Wednesday the 16th, though, I would not start until later that day, given the meeting I have to chair for the Criminal Justice Coordinating Council, or Collaborating Council. So that's from 8:30 to 10. I need to talk with our executive director a little bit more. Because
Why do we need to hear all this garbage? I don't care about her. She's like, why is she explaining all this?
minimum,
She
I
talks.
have no idea.
it would
Like,
be
just
safe to say
schedule the fucking
afternoon on that date.
conference.
And no matter what, that would still clear Mr. Brooks.
That to me was just a little bit of chest puffing out. That was her saying, "Oh, I'm doing this in the morning because I'm important."
Over. It's not unusual to do
That didn't need to be on the record.
that close.
Has a lot of this stuff.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, so I am going to schedule it for the 15th and the 16th. The 15th will start at
This wasn't hard. This was not this
8:30
difficult.
a.m.
Thank you for expressing your concerns, Mr.
depending
Brooks.
on-
It's
I'll
denied.
be ready to go
Scheduling
no
it for the
matter what
15th and
on the
16th.
15th, and
Done.
If the state takes into the afternoon and then Mr. Brooks needs the rest of that afternoon or into the next day, I will certainly make those accommodations. I think I'm going to tentatively say we're going to schedule it for 1 p.m. on the 16th. And if anything changes, I'll let the parties know. And then I just need to know by Friday the 11th at noon who the parties are asking.
I bet he has
Make their
maybe
statements by
2 people
Zoom
speak for him. I don't
with
see
a
20
listing of
people.
their names so that
I can't
If,
see. I don't know who's
then
going to
we'll
speak for
release,
him.
and I'll prove it. We'll release.
Who?
I figured
His
him and
mother
his
didn't want
mom.
I
His
need
mother doesn't want to
everyone to be
speak.
aware, though,
She
including
might at sentencing. She
victims
didn't want to
who
testify.
may
though.
not. Your family members.
but it may be the same as his witnesses. They may turn around and throw another nail in the coffin for him.
It will be only for those individuals that are identified by the state as wanting.
That might be the only reason they want to speak.
Zoom.
That
I
other
wanna
sex
keep a
offender
tight
will speak on his
control
behalf.
Over that. And if I don't see like a name either says a name that's been approved, like let's say you had a friend by the name of John Smith.
Maybe Satan.
John Smith.
Maybe
I was gonna say,
put on there,
Satan is a
Zoom.
character witness.
I'm
Yeah,
not
that's
P.F.
great.
Weaver in the
Phone
chat
number, I may
says
not
Satan. That's
let
good.
them in.
How about the state of
Be
Wisconsin?
identified. Can't just give it out to anyone.
Maybe the real
And
Darrell
it's-
Brooks will
it's
show up and
only
speak.
for those individuals who want to make a statement, since the proceedings will be live streamed as well, whether that be how we've been doing it throughout the trial, or if I utilize the Zoom and the live stream I've done in the past,
I
so that
call
other people can watch it as well.
the great deceiver, Miss Fistopheles, to the stand.
That's my decision on that. And at the
Can I object, Your Honor, on the record?
I want to just very briefly have, I believe it's going to be Deputy Kibler who's going to testify about the restraints.
Okay.
Oh, come on. This is a little overboard too.
Your Honor.
Yes.
No,
So
no.
unnecessary.
Look, I'm not trying to interrupt.
Go ahead.
You said, when is this supposed to be? Because I'm definitely gonna need a little bit more time than the 11th.
No one gives a shit.
First, I've made my decision. The sentencing will be on the 15th and the 16th of November. Anyone who wants to appear by Zoom on your behalf, you must file a request in writing no later than noon on the 11th. The same is true for the state. Everyone needs to be specifically identified so that I can make the appropriate approvals, and only those individuals who I specifically approve to appear by Zoom may be on the Zoom. The Zoom information can't be passed out further. And I'll create a special Zoom for that, and I'll make sure that I work with Teresa to do that and get that information when I approve that to the parties.
Your Honor, what if I'm placed on a protocol?
Too bad.
Per jail. What
Mr. Brooks, that's between you and the jail at this point. If there is something you need to first go through them. I'm not going to step on their toes with their protocols. I'm sure they'll understand this is a very important sentencing for you and make certain accommodations. They've done that throughout this case. I trust that they will do that as they determine as
No, Your Honor,
appropriate.
they've been unfair to me. They got me locked in a cell.
Week when I went on a protocol without even telling them anything suicidal in nature, and I was still placed on a suicide watch protocol.
I understand that, sir. I need to move on because I do have calendar this afternoon, but I want to have Detective Kibler come to the stand.
Your
Kibler.
Honor,
Detective
What did I
Kibbles.
say? Detective, did I give you a promotion?
Suicidal tendencies, man.
All right.
but
He's going to come on up to the witness stand.
Trip to the brain.
And,
But-
we'll go from
but-
there.
Dude, we just don't care,
for the
Darrell.
record, may I respectfully object to your ruling, Your Honor?
He's been
Notice for the
institutionalized.
All right. Madam Clerk, swear him in, please.
For
Move
the
on.
record, may I respectfully request a legal reconsideration
All right,
of your
Mr.
ruling?
No,
Brooks, I'm gonna
mute
have
him.
to mute you because I need to keep going and I can't.
It's
She's
about
quicker on the
time.
mute.
Raise your
She's about quicker on the mute now that,
Testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole
No
truth,
jury
nothing but the
left.
truth, so help you God.
yep.
Your
All right,
objection's
thank you,
on the
sir.
record.
Have a
No, you
seat.
don't need it. You don't get a written
I'll let you
determination.
put your name on the record so I don't get that wrong. And so go ahead. Please state and spell your first and last names.
First name Nicholas, Nicholas. Last name Kibler, Kibler.
All
Wait,
right, thank you. And you are employed.
Just a
in
single
what
B on
capacity
Kibler?
with the Sheriff's Department?
again.
I'm a deputy for the Waukesha County Sheriff's Department.
I'm about to be so disheartened if this is true.
What did he
Don't get me
do?
wrong, it's a
Shot
massive
collar?
mind screw for them, but
All right, sir, were you
disappointment of bounds.
assigned to the trial of Darrell Brooks?
I was.
And can you tell us in what capacity?
My capacity was specifically, my responsibility was Darrell Brooks, along with Deputy Stengelson.
And
And-
were you in court at the start of the trial on October 3rd?
I was.
And did you come into court or work the court trial every day that we were in session?
I did.
And can you, were you at all in charge of the restraints? Let me ask you this way. Do you have knowledge of the restraints that were utilized on Mr. Brooks
I
throughout
do.
this trial? Can you describe those, please?
It's a soft restraint that we used. It was not any type of electronic control device. It was just a soft restraint that we applied to Mr. Brooks prior to coming into court every day.
And would that be a restraint system that was on his legs or something else?
It was around his ankles.
We also had gator
Throughout
clamps
the
hooked up to
trial,
his
the tables
testicles
in this
and a car
courtroom had
battery.
black table skirts. Do you remember seeing those?
I do.
And did that hide from view in any way the use of the restraints from the jury?
It did.
And were the restraints also attached to the table in some fashion?
They were attached to the table by a tether.
At any point in time,
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
were there any other restraints utilized in the courtroom?
There was not.
At any point in time, were there any type of
Really is sad. I was really
electronic
hoping
or
for a
stun
tase.
device placed
Mhm.
Just a
on Mr.
I'm so
potential.
disappointed.
There was not.
This will ruin my fond memories of the trial.
Anything
Forever
you would want
damaged.
to add to the record regarding the restraints that were used in this case, sir?
Not at this time.
State have any questions?
I'm wondering if they just told him that they were electrified so that he'd behave, and he
Heard
still
you
didn't.
indicated that the restraints were connected to the table through a tether, is that correct?
Correct. And then we would secure them with a padlock.
Why are they
How long was
belaboring
that
all of
tether?
this?
The tether that was in here was 4 feet.
So Mr. Brooks. could
I'll
stand up
explain the issue at the end if we really need to get into it. It's
quickly and walk to
I've
his-
dealt with this issue actually
Okay.
in
That's
Florida.
And that was the same rule that the state had, that we had to stand up and use our table to question witnesses. That was the same rule that applied to Mr. Brooks.
Correct.
Okay, nothing.
The attorneys were tethered to their
Any
table.
Questions regarding the restraint system as testified to by
Yeah.
Deputy
Yes,
Kidder?
yes, I do. And Your Honor, you can't practice law from the bench.
Question, sir?
So none of your fellow deputies told me that it was a shock device when I asked what was being placed on my ankles at the start of this trial.
I don't know what other
Not that I'm
deputies
aware
told
of.
you.
Not that you're aware of.
Not that I'm aware
You know
of.
for sure that I was told that they were a shock device.
I don't believe that's the truth. I believe every time you had those devices put on, I was in there, and it was either myself or Deputy Stengelson putting them on, and I did not tell you that, nor did I ever hear Deputy Stengelson tell you that they were an electronic device.
So you were here every single day for every single moment of the trial.
Yes.
Correct.
I heard any deputy tell me that they were. Matter of fact, let me back up. Do you recall me asking what was being placed on my ankles?
That I don't. If you did, we would have told you it was just an ankle restraint.
And you said that it was an ankle restraint. Did it have any metal parts?
Yes.
And what are
Why?
those metal parts?
Metal part is where a strap went through and the locking device.
And what are those particularly, let's say if a defendant in a trial attempts to, let's say, attack someone, what would be the purpose of those ankle restraints?
The restraints we had on you would limit your movement. So if you did try to do anything, we would have had enough time to control you.
And you state that, well, the prosecutors stated that the same rules were in effect for the defendant as the prosecution, but were they not allowed to put up exhibits to go to the front of the courtroom and put up exhibits?
So painful.
They might have a few times, but
The record will reflect
The
it
fucker
was
will reflect it
one
was.
time
Oh, what a great
in the
subtitle.
presence of the jury, and after that, I called them on it and said that would not happen. And then after that, it was only with the permission of the court and then outside the presence of the jury.
I don't believe that Your Honor, you can practice law from the bench and answer the question that was asked to the.
Mr. Brooks, I'm in charge of the record, not you, and the record's going
I
to
didn't
be
say I was-
accurate.
I didn't say, well, it's not accurate. You're practicing law from the bench.
All right, Mr. Brooks, do you have any other questions for this?
Yes, I
witness?
do. Yes,
All right,
I do.
it has
Before
to be
you start-
about the restraint system. Please
Okay,
continue.
and was I allowed to approach the bench and put up exhibits at any time during this trial?
You were not.
And so how is it that the prosecution was able to do something that I was not able to do?
That's not for me to answer.
Oh boy, he's
answer.
good.
Shock device that was put on my ankles, correct?
There was no shock device on your ankle, sir.
I was told that it was. And you said that you don't recall hearing that being told to me, correct?
No, it was not told to you by me.
Yeah, by you, but you also said that's the point that I'm getting at. I'm asking the question. You said
I'm asking
that it wasn't
questions.
told to me by you. I've never asked you, correct?
You never asked me, but I also did not ever hear Deputy Stenelson tell you that they were a shock
I
device.
never asked you. I never asked you, yes or no?
No, you did not.
So do you know for sure if I ever asked any other deputy?
Well, considering I was in there when the restraints were being placed on you, I did not ever hear anybody while I was inside the bullpen while they were putting restraints on you.
So it'd be fair to say that you don't know for sure if I ever asked what the device was that was being placed on my ankle.
No, I can't be for sure.
If there were two bailiffs, just put the other one up there. Have him say, no, it wasn't a shock collar, and move on.
No, I'd say just
Don't have to
move on,
answer.
period.
That's argumentative.
I mean,
All right, the record's been made.
I just want to see Tackleberry steer him down.
See, she's shutting him down. I love it.
Waiting for a moment. The record's been made.
About time.
Deputy, you may step down.
Cheers.
Mr.
Getting some
Brooks,
balls.
if you have additional information that you want to provide to the court, I'd ask that you do so in writing and you provide the
File a written
identity
motion.
of any and all individuals you claim
I feel like I'd
provided
be
you with
annoying.
information
I
that
just
you
keep
were
filing
in
motions
a shock
constantly.
restraint.
A lot of these
I'll
pro
make a
se
finding
people do
based
that.
on the testimony of
Except for the sovereign citizens, they choke
Deputy
it with
Kibler, and
motions.
also my knowledge of being in the courtroom every day and seeing Mr. Brooks being attached, meaning they would secure him to the table, they would unsecure him when he needed to move and other things. I'll make a finding that the soft restraint system was what was utilized, and at no time was he ever in a shock type of device. All right, with that then, ladies and gentlemen, it is going to conclude the hearing today. We have the sentencing dates. I would also ask that any and all written material that either side wants this court to consider also be filed by the 11th by noon. So that's November 11th at noon. That will give this court ample time to review it ahead of the hearing on Tuesday, November
15th and 16th.
All right, thank you, everyone. We are in recess. The court's going to take a short break before I start with my remaining afternoon calendar.
There we go. That's the hearing. It's over.
Oh.
Bam.
Ooh.
There we go. So pretty straightforward. She had to remove him. I mean, this guy.
It was always going to happen.
Yeah. What shouldn't have happened was the overly verbose record that followed.
I'll bet you that's like her matter. That's the way she does court. Boy, I'd hate to do first appearances with her. First appearances we get I did an off day once. I think it was on a Wednesday on Daytona Beach. We have 500,000 people in our county. And I go in there, there's 65 people at first appearances.
Yeah.
If this judge is like doing this on 65, you'd be there all day. Yeah, defense attorney, attorneys, everybody hates that kind of judge who just talks and talks and talks and talks. Get to the point.
Yep. Get to the point, get done, get him out. He doesn't have anything to say that's useful. No. So just get it finished. Okay, we're going to do super chats and then I'll wrap up the show. Not going to hang around too long because it is Halloween. Got to take the kids around. But let's see. Revenant 465 from the New York Post in 2019. A prisoner who briefly died argues that he served his life sentence. What are your thoughts? He has not served his life sentence by briefly dying. Because when you briefly die, you don't collect life insurance. And that's how I'm going to go with that one. It's that simple.
It's not a corporate form.
Yeah. The idea that your brief death somehow triggers your on death stuff is not true, has never been true, would be an absolute disaster. Property law would be monumentally impossible to deal with. Anytime like a heart was stopped for an operation, well, you have to now execute the will, and what, you have a new
I was going to say the
entity
probate
returning?
stuff would be insane.
Yeah. Oh my God. Fair Frozen 55 in a more collected tone. Thanks, Stephen. Also, I wanted, what were your thoughts on when if life extension was easy but denied, would then that be a death penalty? Also, I like giving Nick money. Cheers.
Hey, second part.
If they can extend their life forever, but then they decide not to in prison.
Yeah, well, there's a requisite. These are complicated questions. You know, you're asking me all these hard questions.
Well, he was asking them like during the trial and stuff, and it's like, dude, we don't have time to explore these topics. They're long topics.
We should. You know, we need to do another one of these like long form interview things that we did last time, because where we could talk about these things like in depth for hours, because I could do it, man. I'm all down for it, but it's your audience's time and they're interested in the Brooks trial and what you have to say and not listening to me talk. So,
you know, my audience is interested in a lot of stuff, and we're talking about death and what happens on death. What's really important, though, is to always be planning and thinking about this stuff. And the best way to do that is go to birchgold.com/knows for your free information kit from Birch Gold. This is the last day of my Birch Gold sponsorship for now. We'll see what the future holds. But October was the agreement, and this is the last day of October. So you can go to birchgold.com/knows, click on one of these green buttons, and when they call you up, say, listen, if I put gold and silver in my IRA, and I'm also in prison forever, and I briefly die, does my IRA go to my beneficiaries? And if it does, how do I get my gold and silver back after I'm resuscitated? These are the questions that the Birch Gold Group wants to be asked. They told me personally to make sure to direct all of their brief death questions from the chat to birchgold.com/knows to click that green button and find out how you could get gold and silver in your IRA and if it will be distributed immediately upon the minorest of heart fluctuations. With that, of course, let me just say that the Birch Gold Group has been great so far. And despite all of my horrific jokes in the middle of their ads, they never said to stop. They actually sent me 3 words. They said, no, don't stop.
Well, are you going to be covering the Brooks sentencing? Because there's not going to be a lot of comedy in that. It's going to be a day's worth of pain. You know, and I know that one of the things that this live stream adds is we had some color commentary, but on that, it's a preordained conclusion. It's the victim's chance to speak to the defendant and to the world and to the court about the pain that they've suffered and the losses that they've incurred. And I don't expect it to be that entertaining, although there is a certain, what are you going to do? Do you know, Nick? I mean, have you thought about that yet?
I've thought about hating doing it, but I'll probably do it. I just got to check and see what I'm up to with scheduling around that time, because it's getting into holiday season. But I don't think on the 15th and 16th I have anything particularly important. I suppose I could just double check my schedule right now, because if it looks normal, then I should be. Oh, fuck.
Wait, what?
You know, there are a lot of other folks like Legal Vices and Aussie Overlord that'll probably cover it if you don't, right? Aussie?
You shut your whore mouth, Steve. I just realized I have to verify, but I might be very, very busy the morning of the 15th. Yep. I think I might be very, very busy that morning, and not. It's not a bad thing. It's just going to be. It's going to be me driving someone around and then sleeping in my car, waiting for them to get done with stuff. One of my in-laws, I think, has some. They have some medical procedures, which means we'll be watching their kids, but they need someone to drive them around from the various medical procedures because, all the good drugs they'll be on. So I think that's what's going on that day. I just have to verify that's what's actually in my calendar. If that's the case, I probably will not be streaming it on the 15th, but we'll see. We'll see. And there's always a possibility of an alternative arrangement, but I don't know. I don't know if I'll be able to work one out, but I have to check. But yeah, I would love to cover it. It will be horrible, but there's always some gallows humor to be found somewhere.
Yeah, somebody will do one of those like rankings of all the victims, like looks and stuff. Like
smash and pass on the victims. Oh no.
Hey, by the way, I just wanted to let you know this is Courage and Conviction American Single Malt Whiskey in Nick Rekieta's honor in what they call a Virginia Mule.
Cheers.
Which is whiskey and ginger beer.
Oh, okay.
6 a.m. I wonder if it's too early for a shot.
It is.
Who are you asking? Who are you asking?
For me today, I'm having a sober day for now, of course, because got Halloween stuff to do right after this.
Yeah.
Okay. With that, by the way, I know many people are going to peace out for the reading of the rants and stuff like that. Before you do, on the way out, pop that plusie. Hit that little plus button on the bottom left of your screen. Here we go. Let's show where it is on this thing. If you're watching at home on your browser, it's right down here, this little thing. And then if you're actually on mobile, it'll be up in the top right of your video. There's a thumbs up that looks like a boxing glove. I don't know why, but that's hitting either of those really does help the show. It helps drive it up the ranking board and gets more people to see the show and come watch it. We're at 92.7 thousand subscribers now, pushing towards that big 100K over here on Rumble, and then pushing towards 1 million.
We probably ought to talk just a little bit briefly about the restraint issue and what the issue there is. Okay. And that is that they're not supposed to be shown in restraints. Okay.
Right.
And so the way that the court is dealing with that is that he's in restraints, but he's in a suit, and there's a little skirt that covers the front of the desk, and it's in front of both desks. So he's not getting picked on. And the way that done, and so there's not supposed to hear rattling chains, so that's why he has a tether and not chains. Okay, so the issue is that he not be exposed to some prejudice because he is in restraint. We just had this issue in a death penalty trial we had, where all the guards, they have 10 police guards, in their uniform and their guns hovering over the defendant, while the jury is deliberating, making our client look like he's some kind of dangerous, like he's going to machine gun the whole courtroom, right?
Right.
It's necessary. They are under control. They're restrained. And by doing that, it creates a improper impression on the jury. Now, the reason that the judge is going into this is for appellate purposes, because what will happen is you could have, she's putting things on the record because the fact his status as a handcuffed or restrained individual at his table is not going to come through on the record, because the record is a written documentation. So the talk will go and it'll be translated, but what the visuals are in the courtroom will not be apparent. So he could say, for example, well, I was restrained and I was being held down and beaten, but on the record, it's invisible because there's no text of what was being said. So she's illustrating for the text, for the appellate record, that this is what occurred, that you could see and is not heard and not written. So that's what she's doing. It's way overboard. I had this very issue in a handcuffing situation in a Orlando courtroom. And it was a merit point that I had on appeal. I won on a different issue, but it was talked about in that case. So that's what's going on, and that's why she's addressing it. That's why she called the deputy, so that later on, when he claims something, it will be falsified by the actual written record. So there's my piece on the restraints.
The whatchamacallit? Some people like to be restrained.
Well, yeah, so I got you, but it wasn't consensual.
Maybe it
I
is.
think there's going to be plenty of non-consensual restraints once he makes it into Gen Pop. Let's be
Oh,
perfectly
yeah.
honest.
Oh,
Oh God.
poor Darrell. I have so much sympathy. Team Ruby, and once again, Darrell Brooks acts like an utter twat waffle and has to be removed. Well, I mean, this is he's petulant, and he has to try and exert some level of control. This is his last firing at it. She handled it much better today than she had been handling it. Just remove him, get it done. There's no jury to worry about or anything like that. Get through this stuff. But he would, I mean, if he would have just let this hang out there for another hour or two. He's got nothing else to do. Farmhand Tom says happy Halloween. And he was clearly conscious of the camera. I don't know if people caught that, but while he was still in the courtroom, when he was delivering his tirade, he was looking at the judge and he kept glancing at the camera constantly. He would glance over. He wants to be, this is his moment. I mean, for the rest of his life, he's going to be locked away and forgotten. Happily so. So that's his chance.
I haven't looked. Do we know what he's on trial for in Milwaukee? Or is this his full 15 minutes of fame?
No idea.
You know, some prosecutors, they could just drop that case. And, you know, they wouldn't need, if he gets multiple life sentences, they probably just drop the case, whatever it is. There's no reason to pursue it further because, yeah.
Nick, what is the cat painting? You a cat lady now? That's during the COVID pandemic.
Cat, isn't it?
Well, that's cute. Can we see close up of that?
I mean,
I'm just asking. Let's see that, man.
Kinda.
That's cool.
It's not
cute.
like.
Let's see that thing. Oh,
they did a really good job.
So it was during a COVID thing, one of the live stream courts, an attorney showed up for an appearance. I don't have my headphones in, but and his granddaughter had been using his computer for Zoom and put the cat filter on. So he looked like this. He's like, you could tell he's an old Texan. He's like, I'm here making my appearance on the record. I'm not a cat. And he's like, but I am ready to proceed with argument, Your Honor. It's just pretty funny. But so the painting itself, though, is a friend of mine, a very nice artist. I think he's Canadian. Eric Waugh, W-A-U-G-H, if people are interested in his art. He also did the Johnny Depp painting. He also did my liquor painting. And I have several other of his works around the house. Damn it, MD Huge Ass. Oh, I hate you so much. Never mind. But don't worry about it. But anyway.
Already seen it.
I did not have a good Instagram angle on that lean. Oh God. Next time I'm gonna get up, turn around, and bend over for the camera. But anyway, so when certain memes come up, like that's Johnny Depp saying a mega pint, right? Like that's the moment is what he painted there. He'll paint these meme pictures and then put them up for auction for charity. So
that's great.
When each of those went up, I had to grab them. So he's a really good dude.
Well, those are mementos, you know, to points in your life that you will always be able to look at that, and it reminds you of just things that were, you know, that you did. Like my guitar that I got that because Andrew hired me for his crim law class. And so I'm teaching his crim law class. And so every time I play that guitar, I'm like, I put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into that crim law class. And here's my reward. You know, you reward yourself for something like that. And, you know, suffering through that, since Brooks trial, for example, well, you know, you got to reward yourself for something, right?
Yeah, you do. I do have something to say to MD Huge Ass in the in the locals chat. Okay, this is for you.
I hope you die in prison as well.
Never gonna live it down. Revenants 465. Please tell me you're dressing up as a crazy old prospector and Lady Rackets is going as a gold digger today. No, I think she's a skeleton and I'm a zombie mummy or something. Which I think I'm just gonna be in a bodysuit, which will be weird, but all right. I don't know. I don't even remember what my costume is. Last time I picked out a costume, it got memorialized on the internet forever. So I don't know if that's.
Well, you should do that again. Make sure you post the costume.
Do you do it again?
Yeah. People are interested. That's fascinating.
Do you know?
Or let Lady Rackets do it and put it on her new channel. Didn't she?
You don't know what you don't know what costume I'm referencing, do you?
No, I'm. Pleased.
Have you ever met my friend Drexel?
I have not. I know who he is.
You've seen him, right?
I've seen him. I know who he is.
I dressed up as him, Steve.
Oh, jeez.
I'm now running for governor of Virginia.
So, yeah, what you're saying is you're not running for office.
The photos are hilarious. I'm not gonna lie.
My favorite.
Let's see it. I want to see it.
Go on, locals. You know you've got them handy.
Yeah, locals, help me out. The best part of the costume is so Drexel and I were we were cheerleaders in college, of course.
You were really?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. So you are admitting to something now.
Yeah, that's how I met my wife.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, see, I'm so clueless. I don't know anything. I'm new to this.
So I took Drexel always he had a big afro back then, and he had this Michael Jordan headband. Here we go. God damn.
There it is.
I'm supposed to be like ignoring that this exists.
Let's see it. I want to
That's
see
what you're
that.
supposed to
Steer
do.
into
But
the skid, my man. Steer into the
See
skid.
the humiliation, man.
I have to. No, you have to, because every time I cover something new and new people find me, they're like, "What the fuck is this?"
Well, did he dress up as you?
Yeah.
Holy cow. All right. So you're admitting to it.
I'm admitting to it. Yeah.
No governorship for you.
There was no way around it. It's been out there forever. So the best part of that costume, in my opinion, was when we were getting ready to take the picture. This is like 2005, I think. it was Halloween 2005. And it was at my house. It was just a couple friends over. And Drexel had no idea. I'd stolen his headband, but I had the same cheerleading outfit. So I put that on. But I put a sign around my neck that said "World's Gayest Cheerleader." And we're like, we got to take that sign off. That's really offensive. Like, people will be mad about that one. But I love that story because it illustrates literally how different the world was in 2005. Because it didn't enter, not just my mind, no one I knew of any ethnicity thought a moment's bad about that picture. But that, like, whoa, gay cheerleader? I mean, that might piss somebody off.
See, when I graduated high school in 1985. And when I was there were no men on the cheerleading team. It was like the hot chick club, and it's like, it became really catty and these women competed for it. It was like, who's pretty? And they was like a little tight knit group of pretty cheerleaders. And if they're on the cheerleading team, they'd wear it. And I mean, it was like a different world. There was no men on there. Now it's like, I went to a high school football game a few years ago with my son when he was going to high school. And there was there were more cheerleaders than there were people in the stands. Like the whole thing was lined up. There was like all these girls and of every shape and size and everything else, and all these guys, and they were all on the field lined up. And then I'm looking at the stands. There's less people in the stands than were on the cheerleading team. Couldn't believe it.
So what you're saying is most of the guys had a chance.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm just observing. It's a different world. But I would say that in my day, a guy being on the cheerleading team, we'd think things, you know what I'm saying?
You can think what you want. That was fine.
My vision of you is now changing. You see, this is constantly evolving.
It was so I was not a high school cheerleader. I've never thought of doing cheerleading until a little blonde thing came up to me and said, "Are you doing male cheerleading? Is that what you're here for?" Because I showed up early for taekwondo, and the cheerleading tryouts were going on. I was like, "No," and she's like, "Oh, well, we're looking for men, and if you can get for every man that you get to join the cheerleading squad, I'll get a cheerleader to join taekwondo." So we had a fair exchange. Got 4 lazy pieces of shit to join the cheerleading squad, and then
You gave for value and you accepted for value.
exactly.
See?
And then
Now we got it.
So she was my flyer who I would lift up in the air, and then
You see, that's the cool benefit of being
20
the male
years
cheerleader.
later,
Especially if you're hetero and you got your hot cheerleaders, man, you're in like Flynn. Well, you said you met Lady Rackets. Was she a cheerleader?
I was just telling you about that was
Well,
was
I
the little
didn't-
blonde
but you
that walked up to me.
But was she a cheerleader?
Yes,
Okay, well, you got to fill in the gaps.
I did. I said she was my cheerleader who I lifted in the air.
All right,
And she coincidentally also learnt Taekwondo, so we know she can kick Nick's ass.
She's mean. She's very mean. I did not drop her. Oh my gosh. That was the other guy who dropped her. I have many cheerleading stories. Many of them are very fun, but not for this stream. Ambo, my copy of Steve's book arrived today. If you haven't bought his book yet, what are you waiting for?
Yeah.
Crimelaw.net.
Absolutely. I've got my next, and we really do we need to sell out this last batch because it's at crimelaw.net. It's my, let me see. I think I got it right here. Check this out. Oh, and one's headed your way, Nick. You will be getting yours very soon. There's the
Can't
book.
wait. I love it.
Autographed, personalized, if you so say. It's basically it's legal stuff, but people are watching this. They're interested in law. So it's for people who really want to learn some stuff in depth, and it's to best of my ability. It's everything that I've done in my entire life. I'm poured my heart into this, and it's the best I can do, looking at very in depth at certain legal issues that really could affect you. And I would say that a lot of people are saying it's just for lawyers. I targeted for lawyers, but it's really anybody who's interested in law. If you're watching this stream, I mean, you're interested in the law, so please do buy. And the thing is what's the worst thing that can happen? I've lost $30 on scams and stuff every day. This is my entire life I've poured into this book. So, if you hate it, it's not the worst $30 you've ever spent, right? So at least you get a book and it's signed by me, and you can burn it if you hate it.
I'm dead. My life is over.
What do you mean? What do you mean you're dead?
Logo's chat's trolling him.
My chat is just ripping me apart right now.
Why?
It's not important, Steve.
What?
It's not important.
See, I've got the humble chat. I'm like one of the old humble chatters in the old Rumble stream chatting.
Yep. Yep. I'm going to have
this-
to do a tattoo docs to clear my good name. Oh, damn it. Dallas Punk says, I'm paying to have you fat shame yourself. You're welcome. I don't need to. The locals chat is killed. I'm dead. I've killed me. They've killed me completely. Oh, you don't need to make it fatter. You don't need to Photoshop it even fatter. I'm working hard to get my stomach down, and then I did, and then I got angled. Pinking 554 costume contest tonight for a free month on locals. Well, I can tell you what costumes would win. Yeah, that's what we need to do. We need to have submissions for a costume contest.
Chunkator. Oh, Jesus.
Guys, it's not fat enough. Make it fatter. Dragon's Treasures is final day to use code DINDONOTHIN at thedragonstreasure.com. On side note, I got yeeted on Twitter a few days ago, so starting over, find me at its_the_T-man and buy my tea, damn it. Oh, just blame the beer bloat. Wait, you just drink whiskey. Oh, fucking hell. Near Manual. Hey Nick, shout out my channel Cyber Liberty. I'm on a quest to reach 100 subs so I can stream live and be part of the Rumble community. Cyber Liberty on Rumble, guys. Give it a check. See what's going on there.
Cyber Liberty.
Yeah, just be glad this didn't happen 3 months ago. No kidding. Oh my god. Nimitz 42. I'll get. That's it. We're gonna do another locals dick cam stream, and we're gonna do that. That's
What?
Don't ask questions, Steve.
Is it DIT or DICK?
The second one.
The second. Okay. I don't care about that. I am so heterosexual that I have no interest in the DICK.
Clearly, you weren't a cheerleader.
I was definitely not a cheerleader. I was in heavy metal bands in my days.
Nimitz 42. I was fired for no vax, still trying to find a lawyer in Massachusetts for this bullshit, having many troubles with it. Yeah, the problem is most lawyers are fine with that.
I don't know about that. I'll tell you, I think the lawyer community is going to sniff blood in these big pharma companies because they are packed with money and they are a ripe target. And there's a lot of stuff. Now, the Congress is trying to pass an immunity on them for misleading the public and for hurting people. But I don't know about this. I'll tell you, I think big law might see a nice ripe target in these pharmaceutical companies and all this information that's coming out about it. I'm not so sure about that. So keep your powder dry and talk to the right lawyer. Right?
Yes, finding the right lawyer is the hard part. I mean, that's the tough thing. But the other thing is all of these private companies are going to have a reliance defense, right? Like, oh, well, we were told the vaccine, we were given bad info on the vaccine. It's not our fault. We relied on the official sources. The official sources, lied or distorted the data. Nothing we can do.
Well, maybe. We're lawyers. We'll find a way. Class action lawsuits. I think it's in a few years, you're going to see some giant class action lawsuits against big pharma, unless Congress passes immunity, which I would be very much against, because there does need to be accountability for what was done these last few years. And but that's a long discussion for another topic. I have somebody coming on my Rumble channel, a Dr. Rebecca Peck, who's going to be speaking about pro-life issues, and she's also involved in this vaccination controversy and all the doctors that are getting decredentialed because they speak out. They're just, it's like all they want to do is explore the question. It's like you can't even ask the questions. There's issues, there's questions out there about whether the spike protein is causing blood issues, and it's an open question. It's some countries have banned it, and for men from 18 to 40 something. There's an open question that needs to be studied, but you can't even ask the question. You can't even. Thank God we're on Rumble, because then we'd get banned if we talked about this here on the other scum channel.
Oh yeah, you can't talk about any of this shit.
But it's a scientific question, right?
Yeah, of course.
Sorry,
Princess.
I'm opining on subjects not related to Brooks, but still, this is a big issue.
Absolutely, Princess Leanna. People will do stupid things when they're terrified. They and their loved ones will die. I find it really hard to blame people when we didn't have the facts. Sorry for being a softie or whatever. No, it's not the people. It's it was the mouthpieces. And I'm going to go back to this article on tonight's show, probably the amnesty for COVID article. They want amnesty for the people who had the information and didn't tell it to us. They want amnesty for everything, or the people who just didn't look at it, but decided to ruin other people's lives over it.
You know how much money they made last year? Pfizer made $25 billion off the vaccine last year. If that's not an incentive to manipulate the truth, I mean, and I don't know. I mean, I'm undecided, but I at least want to explore the question. I think we need to be able to talk about it. And somebody who makes allegations about it, well, let's look at it. Let's talk about it. That's the whole idea of free speech and free inquiry. They want to shut you down. They want to shut you up. That to me, that's like there's smoke there. There must be fire,
Oh yeah. I think there absolutely is fire. I just don't know. I don't know if we'll ever be able to get to it. Lizard Sauce, comics for your escapism needs. Shane Davis, Inglorious Rex 2. Go Comicsgate Monsters Boxing. So there you go. Inglorious Rex 2 by Shane Davis. You can check that out on Indiegogo, I believe. Ridgedale says, good sir, I sent you a DM on Discord, hoping to schedule you for a mansplaining panel. The day you picked might be really tough. I'm not sure. I know you haven't seen it yet. Just wanted to get enough lead time because I know you're busy. I actually have seen it. I just haven't responded to you. Let's see. Royal Plague 45. The same money funnel is being used for trans surgeries. Megan Fox was working on this in Oklahoma last week. Jonathan, Brooks is wearing a mask again now. I guess the Rona came back for the hearing. It's very dangerous for him in there. Let's see. I am Luthien Tenuvial. Okay, Nick, you need to mention the vote peeps that got arrested.
Yeah.
They need all the publicity they can get. Oh, I haven't heard about this.
Yes, the vote. They've been held in contempt by some judge, and they've been sent to jail for not revealing a confidential source about who was giving up the information about. I don't know if it's Dominion or one of the voting things. And so what they did is they said, we're not revealing our source, how we got it. And what I understand is that company that they're suing just got indicted or got charged with a felony. So basically that, and the judge isn't even taking that into consideration. It's just like, the government these institutions have been taken over by the left, and they've been weaponized against opposition. If you're just, boy, I'm ranting today, aren't I? But I mean, really, it's a very serious issue. We got elections coming up. It's important. If you're an average Joe and you're protesting and you're speaking up, you get banned and you get shut down, you get canceled. And if you're at the peak power, if you're in True the Vote or you're Steve Bannon or you're, whomever, you're going to get attacked too. So nobody is protected from this organizational targeting. Boy, there really needs to be some change and some blowback for this, because it's very dangerous to our republic.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
See, we're talking law all the time. I used to talk politics on the radio. This is more like my wheelhouse. This is fun stuff. I don't know. How much do you talk politics a lot on your channel, like outside of these trial coverage things?
I talk about everything, anything and everything. It doesn't matter anymore. SRN 30, live near Louisville, Kentucky here, and almost all schools around here are closed for the Oaks Day race, which is the day before the Kentucky Derby. Teachers love horse races.
Oh yeah. Our class, like, I'm letting I'm throwing a few teachers under the bus here, but they used to put it up on the projector screen. We'd all stand around at lunchtime and watch it when it was, when we didn't have the holiday. So,
Jonathan, I think this calls for a tasing or two. Viola Pride 14, I sure hope he gets up and tests if they will shock him. They can't, they couldn't. It was a lie. And the lie came from Brooks. Everybody believed it though, but he said he's got a shock collar or shock thing on his ankles. I swear to God, he said that some point in court. That's where, because
I always thought I thought it was. I'm surprised that he didn't actually, but it's not really necessary. I mean, if he's restrained, what's he going to do?
Yeah, I don't know. Daconia Copper, question for Steve: screw, murder, or marry? So you have one person to have sex with, one you have to murder, and one you have to marry forever. Steve Harris, Cliff Burton, and Geezer Butler.
Well, I'd marry Steve Harris.
Okay.
Because he's my guru of all bass playing. Let's see. Cliff Burton, I'd murder because he's already dead.
Dang. So I guess you have to have sex with Geezer Butler.
Oh, that's I don't know. Can I rearrange my choices?
I also challenge you to a bass battle to the tune of 22 Acacia Avenue. By far one of the most fun songs to play.
Yeah, he's referring, because I'm doing a lot of music and bass playing on my channel. Like I said, it's so scattered. It's nuts. But I've been doing Iron Maiden, on playing bass to Iron Maiden songs. So a 22 Acacia Avenue. I know also people want to hear Hallowed Be Thy Name. So it'll come. I just, I got so much going on in my life. Buy my book so you can support me, because I need the time to be able to do this stuff. Do you know Hallowed Be Thy Name by Iron Maiden, by the way?
I think I've heard it, but I don't know it.
Oh, come on now, Nick. That's like one of the all-time greatest Maiden songs. Live, especially live. Oh my gosh. It's epic. Watch Hallowed Be Thy Name, especially the on the Number of the Beast tour. There's a live version on that, non-Rumble channel. And it's like where they're playing it's Number of the Beast and they're playing Hallowed Be Thy Name. It's epic. Epic.
Jacob McQuaid, on the rightness of hell, at some point, a refusal to ask for forgiveness becomes an outright rejection of God. It's almost an abuse of his love and is painful to him. It is a reflection of ourselves. Go for Big Guy 911. Ball gag or no ball gag on sentencing day. Also, or ask so Viva and Barnes said they would love to do a meetup with you anytime you want. Well, yeah, I just have to have time to get to wherever they are. But yeah, that'd be great. Talking Trash and Truths, would love to know if Steven knows about the 2015-ish Prinz Pfeiffer murder case in Daytona Beach. I've been his best friend for over 30 years. Would love to discuss.
Yes, well, see, the problem with those kind of cases is they're close to home. And I'm an assistant public defender in the appellate division. So we handle a lot of these local cases. So that was a case where a guy was alleged to have murdered and thrown this girl off a boat in the river. And she was deemed to be, and I think he was convicted, but I'm not certain of where I am as far as appeals and things like that. So those kind of local cases I really can't talk about because they might come into my jurisdiction. Even if it's been appeals over, what they have is a 3850 and then it can appeal the 3850. So it may still become to me. So I can't talk about cases within my jurisdiction, but I am very familiar with that case, as with most murders in our jurisdiction.
Tor Theo says Nick dropped his wife and that's how she ended up marrying him. I did not. No, I had to haul her ass up 4 flights of stairs every day and down.
Down.
C3 Metal, I just bought a book. You better sign it.
I will. Any books that you buy, I will sign. And at least until I get so overwhelmed that I can't, which do that for me, man. Make my life miserable.
P-Dog Knight, one of these days, Rekieta Law. Yes, I got to respond to you. I've got you. I got you. And Steve, competent hetero male college cheerleaders were in the right place. Trust me, unless your flyer was your girl. Wait, why is that unless? But I guess that sometimes worked out too. Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay. No, I pick up what you were saying. Gotcha. Caligula, trust the science is the most anti-science statement ever. Science starts with asking questions. American music, when you need to defrag from this nonsense, check out America Inc. or America Inc. music. Check out America Inc. Witch Hunt. New metal music video out today.
All right. I'm going to do it. I'll look it up. Thanks.
Here,
I love the music recommendations.
Can I? I'm trying to get you. Oh, here, I'm putting it in the private chat. There you go.
Got it.
Okay, a couple more chats over here. Not Brandon, 6'9" for 6'9". Hi, Nick. I'm a fellow lawyer. I have a ton of subcutaneous fatty tissue, which I'm fairly certain I gained from drinking whiskey. I'm so annoyed. I'm so annoyed. I can't even bear to get out of my chair. I just roll 3 feet to grab things. Please, please fat shame me so I can at least relearn how to walk or move or just not be a waste of space breathing up everyone's oxygen. Wait, I don't know if you're talking about me or you right now. Because, like, that just happened to me, okay? I
feel cream pies.
I know. Locals is lighting me up. Oh God.
Oh, I love you guys. That's great.
You guys are getting, oh man.
Okay, not Brandon 69 for 69 says well, oh, you can't stand up anymore. You sat too long. You molded into your chair, you fat piece of garbage, sitting there drinking whiskey all day, chuckle fucking around, never doing anything. You could do like a jumping jack ever, maybe one. You'd sweat, of course. You'd lose 3 pounds of sweat immediately, but then you'd slip and fall on that pile and just lay there on your back, unable to get up. Oh, my knees. It's not your knees. It's the 600 extra pound of stomach that you're carrying around. I tell you to hang yourself, but the rope would snap.
I get it now. Now that I'm tuned in, I get the old. It's hilarious.
Yeah. So, by the way, if you think that's not how I wake up and look in the mirror every morning, you're very wrong. Type 1 diabetic 7 sent a tip. She says, so excited for the World Cup, Team Germany all the way. No, you stop it. Nigeria is not playing Germany.
What? I'm so disconnected from sports. Although I like strongman. Strongman's my sport. You ever watch strongman?
Yeah.
That's my favorite sport. No team sports. They're all been abused by the left.
By the time tonight's show comes around, the locals chat is only going to be variations of fat memes of me. I'd say it's going to be the whole day.
The sumo one's impressive. I'm not going to lie. That was clever. Like they went straight for the jugular.
I love this one.
Boy,
oh my
I didn't
God.
catch that the first time around, man. I'll say it, Nick.
Well, to be fair, I'm 6.5 months along. Okay, Steve.
You've chosen this fate, right?
I'm surprised no one's put a Rumble Plus on it yet and just hit the plussy.
Oh my gosh. What else do we have? Cryptoki, can you guys cover the SCOTUS case Gonzalez versus Google and its implications? Your predictions. It's supposed to be about Section 230, maybe on the night show, but I do have to actually go today. And the reason I'm going to have to leave really soon is because it's going to take me 23 minutes to get out of the chair. That's
why you got to get shared with the sides that lift up and then you just roll.
Yeah. I just need one of those things that they install on staircases to take you up and down the staircase, but I need that throughout my whole house. Just one rail system from my office, out the door, up the stairs, around, over to my bedroom, and then it could just dump me in bed.
This is so much more fun than listening to Brooks talk.
Oh, yeah.
T. Lewis 007 went to Steven's website and thought he had a picture of Barnes. Good.
What do you mean, Barnes? What's that mean?
Robert Barnes, another lawyer. I don't know.
He
He must have thought one of your pictures looks like Barnes. Bear in the Woods. Hey, Nick, if it's broadcast, are you going to stream the trial for the Delphi, Indiana murders? Asking for my wife. Maybe. I don't know when they are, and it depends on timing. We'll see. Kramit says, your fat shaming ability has been revoked, Nick. Why do you think I'm so good at it? Every day I wake up.
You got the zone, man. When you go into it, it's like there's no stopping you.
Because of the Twitter ban, this man's lost his lust for life and held free Rekieta.
It's over.
They are brutal.
It's the angle. It's just the angle. Leave me alone.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. If you didn't hear the clinking bottles, my floor has just a ton of whiskey bottles on it. They're mostly full still.
See, I ran out. I got to get a new bottle. Can you recommend a good whiskey that's not like ridiculous? This is my whiskey but it's out.
Define ridiculous.
Well, I mean, 60, 70, 80, something like that. That range.
Yeah. Let's see. Well, Angel's Envy, For $100, Angel's Envy finished rye, finished in Caribbean rum casks, is one of the best $100 bottles you can find.
Okay.
It's so good. Strongly recommend it. Redemption Bourbon and Rye are pretty good too. They're around $60. Okay. Fire PA. Hey, Nick, you should seriously check out Dr. Vinay Prasad, who has been an outspoken critic of Biden administration, FDA, COVID, booster, and mask mandates, the lack of randomized control trials in big pharma, along with being free speech advocate in the scientific field. Okay. T. Lewis just ordered. Oh, he ordered your book. Super excited.
Oh, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. I really do. It's not, we joke around, but I mean, there's a lot of big issues that are out there in the law that I think need to get known. So read my, what's she's like, you interrupted my book plug. You see, this is the thing. But boy, that is hilarious. How do people do these things? I don't.
What are you talking about? Do what? How do I roll back and pick up that cat picture? I don't even know. I don't know. How do I go on living? I'm not sure, Steve. How do people do these things? I'm now looking for counseling on the subject.
You did this, Steve. You asked to look at the cat picture, and
I did. It's great. It's great. I don't trust any photo now. I mean, this is like good for my lawyer brain, so that when I see a photo coming in, I'm going to be like, wait a second now. I mean, because that's really good. You got to be real careful with photographic evidence now.
Yeah, you got to be real careful with rolling back and getting a cat picture when one of your panelists tries to ruin your life. Dragonfighter.
I just wanted to see the cat picture, man. That's all.
Dragonfighter costume idea: zombie with Biden T-shirt and an "I voted" sticker. I think I saw that, or maybe it was a cartoon of that. How do Nick's skinny jeans fit with all that fat? I don't know. Cram it. Have you tried complying your way into freedom? Yeah, COVID stuff. Parrot 0807. Thanks, Nick. After seeing you, I feel so much better about myself. What is happening here?
That's the sumo one that I saw.
Oh my gosh. This is so
Life
funny.
is literally over. Philip Booty. Hayden, our grade 5, 6, and 7 teachers in QLD organized a bet on Melbourne Cup Day. That's just wrong on so many levels.
Mm-hmm. I can't say that I'm wrong with that. That's a completely different state betting on a Victorian horse race, but to each their own, honestly. If they want to lose their money on it, go for it.
Let's see. Someone asked if I could move my mic closer so they could hear me sweat. The Coltrane. Nick, you should have to read the fat shames from locals so that you get motivated to not be fat. I'll read him in my husky Rekieta voice. Oceanics, the Nick we know is actually a highly elaborate VTuber avatar that is skinny. Booty. Also, if he was under duress thinking that his actions could result in electrocution, couldn't that be a point of appeal? And that is why she is laboring the point. No, because they could have put him in shock restraints.
Yeah, no difference. I don't even see the appellate issue there. The only appellate issue is that if the jury saw that he was being restrained or he was being treated like some kind of dangerous person, that creates a perception. But that we're so far away from that issue. That's not an issue.
Primarch Vulcan. Does the judge have the option to gag this asshole? Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, and she did, thankfully.
Faulkner 146. Finally, Nick got a FUPA. Yep. Okay, USA Now. Wait, what? It's a meme of Kermit here. Wait.
You've got a Kermit thing, but you got a Jordan Peterson / Kermit impression, right?
Yeah, I don't actually do a good Kermit impression. But people can figure it out. The new iPhone X has facial recognition. Some of y'all ladies are going to be locked out after you wash your face off. Damn. Brutal. Oceanics, can we please get Steve a locals account? I want him on here to enjoy the memes. I don't know.
I don't know if I want to be over there in that den of sin and destruction.
You just got to ease yourself in.
Why is it getting worse? How did all this happen? How did this happen to me? Let's see. What do we got? Matt P sent this picture in. This is accurate. What the business?
You know what this reminds me of, and maybe I'm dating myself, but when Howard Stern was great, when he was on like terrestrial radio,
Too soon.
Yeah, it's like he had this great comedy group around him, and they would contribute like all the pranksters and stuff. That's what you got going here, man. I mean, once he moved to that satellite, that pay service, I think he lost it.
Yeah, they censored him, and then he was okay with the censorship.
Yeah,
he
but
still is. Now he's like fully on to censoring people.
But this is the same kind of fun that he had going on, and when he was in that free radio, like they had the Whack Pack and that whole thing. It was so much fun to listen because you never knew what was coming up. That's kind of what you've got a crew of like dedicated people who are like creating these memes and things, and they're hilarious. I love it.
Yeah, they're real fucking funny.
They're hilarious. We need comedy in this world. Thank God for comedy.
Philip Booty says, Nick, press the F key on an upcoming stream and it puts it in full screen. Really? Is that true? I didn't know that. That's amazing. Okay, next we got just a couple more. Self-loathing lib. Hey, Nick, love your show. I need some motivation to lose weight or literally do anything. I was a cheerleader. Yes, Steve accused me of being a gay, but my stretchy jeans are working overtime. Help.
Hey, as a chick
I can't even
reeling in strategy, I'm not against the cheerleader strategy. I'm just saying, when I was growing up, we didn't have men cheerleaders. It was just, that was unusual.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, why weren't you a pioneer, Steve?
I'm a Gen Xer. I'm an Xer, I'm not that next generation. I'm an Xer, and Xers, we see cheerleaders as the hot chicks who had their little hot chick club. We didn't have men cheerleaders. I don't remember. Maybe somewhere else, but not in my little city.
But here we go. Self-loathing lib. You need a fat shaming? You need a fat shaming? I got you.
Oh, this is gonna
just imagine you were me. Just imagine. Because you keep working at it the way you're going right now, blimping up into this disgusting mass. Eventually you'll get to my size. And when you do, one day you'll need to pick up a picture. You'll turn sideways and everyone will see the truth that you're a disgusting, unlovable pile of garbage. That you are merely a grape and your head looks like a chopped off stem sticking out of your bulbous figure. Where do you even put your legs and arms? Or they just get subsumed into your adipose tissue? I don't even know. I don't know how you type this. I assume your fat just landed on the keyboard and that's what came out. My God. Torthea, why didn't the judge call out the lie that he had shock anklets on the record until the sentencing phase? I have no idea. But it didn't matter. That was the whole thing. It doesn't matter. The overwhelming majority of his problems, objections, everything he would bring up, it didn't matter to the case. And so the trick that sovereign citizens try to pull is to get the court to address a bunch of non-important things and maybe make some important mistake doing so. And also just to clog up the case or to just get the judge flustered for the next issue that comes up. Parad 0807, Nick, we are doing you dirty, but go roll in the mud like that fat pig that you are. Okay. Well, that's all the chats.
The chats are wonderful. They're so nice. Aren't they nice? They're giving you money to be you.
I mean, to be me or to abuse me, but yes.
Well,
yes.
Whatever. They're still giving you money. I mean, that's nice. You can, you can donate. Like, that's the thing. I mean, my crime law, you can buy my book or you can donate.
They could donate to me getting less fat somehow. No.
They are doing that, aren't they?
Sure.
I
Sure
mean,
they are.
look, he's right though. At least locals, they're paying to abuse you.
C3 Metal, my buddy Nick, who is lovingly broadcasting this show, needs a fat shaming, and he's got bitch shoulders that might hide that fats. Hey, Nick, when you're not supposed to have the shape of a raindrop, or maybe maybe actually your body type is the tear rolling down your fat cheek that mingles with the sweat from the rest of your body when you look at a pizza. You disgusting pile of trash. Ew. Okay, there we go. All right, guys, that's the show for today. I gotta go try and walk 10 feet to help my kids trick or treat. If I don't need to get in a golf cart to do it with a cane on the side of the golf cart to keep it from tipping over every time I turn to the left. Good God. Expect a bunch of thirst trap pictures of me going up on my Instagram very soon. To my guests, Aussie and Steve, thanks for joining me, of course. I will keep everybody posted on the 15th, about the 15th. No D&D today. It's Monday, but there's no D&D because of Halloween. The show is canceled. I will be doing probably a Rumble stream at 11 p.m. Central Time tonight. We've got some topics to cover, and maybe we'll talk something spooky. And we might go to Twitch afterwards for one more Halloween movie. We'll see. You guys want to say anything before we go?
Aussie?
As always, stay healthy, wealthy, and wise, and I'm going the fuck back to bed. See you guys.
Good night, buddy. Steve?
Crimelaw.net. Please buy my book. I would really appreciate it. And I've got a Rumble channel, Crime Law with Stephen N. Gosney, which I've got all kinds of videos on all kinds of topics: faith, music, law, life tips, all sorts of stuff. So just random thoughts from me. But thank you, everybody, for buying my book. And please buy multiple copies.
And we all learned today that on this stream that my children will not get to eat any of their candy. So that's good. Mars Lance, Steve's expression tells me he doesn't know what a fupa is, and that's okay.
I don't know what a fupa is, but I'm just here for the law. The other stuff is just entertainment for me.
All right, guys. Thanks a bunch. Until tonight, have a good day. Happy Halloween. Peace. Peace.
Oh, he drinks a fair bit, but you realize that it just helps get his noggin jogging along. With his glass by his side and his kids asleep tight, we'll hear some law-splaining tonight. With his microphone muted, we'll laugh at this boomer until he explains it's all part of the plan. Watch his face become redder as he becomes meta, raging at idiots from Twitterland. From the white shores of Maine to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the law better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed to make the law what we have now. Oh, his lady is fair, and she handles herself with the grace of one who has borne many children. As the wife of a lawman, she makes sure that he has the time and the place to provide for them there. So pour out an Ardbeg, a Balmore, a Lafroig, the spirits blow as the ones who get unemployed. So pour out a glass for the deposed on Twitter, as we hear law-splaining tonight. From the white shores of Nairn to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the law better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed to make the law what we have now. Oh, the guests are all plenty folks, from Doug T to Drexel. They bring their perspective and spice to the mix. But the reason we're here and the one that we cheer is the one who is showcasing us his career. heart. So pour out a glass for the tea, post on Twitter as we hear Lost Painting tonight. From the white shores of Nairn to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who paints the poem better than Nick. So pour out a glass